here bottom. Bottom, pen bottom. Okay, so let me introduce myself and then let me introduce about the subject and then how to prepare for the general economics. Then let's get into today's topic. Okay, so myself, I am Manikandan. I'll be handling the portion general economics for your batch. About myself, I'm an agri graduate. My passed out on 2002. Then from 2002 to 21, my professional experience goes on. 2002 to 5, like that. So in between 2 to 11, I was preparing for UPSC. Then I was involved in microfinance, then equity research, and then banking. Okay, so combined 9 years experience. Then after that, from 2012 onwards, I got into Shankar IAS Academy. From then on, okay, I'm taking classes for UPSC. And earlier I used to take for Group 1 also, but now because of time constraints, I used to focus only in UPSC. Okay, so I used to assist the students in prelims and mains and also during the time of interview. Okay, so that's my brief profile with respect to the UPSC. Okay, with this, let me introduce the subject, general economics. What are the topics we are going to cover, and then how to prepare for the examination. Then let's get into today's class. Okay, regarding the doubt, okay, this is the first class. So I opened the chat box. Okay, so if you got any doubts, now and then you can send me the doubts. So you are online, you are offline, so you can ask the doubts now and then. So same thing, students, those who are online, you can get your doubts cleared now and then. But based on the experience, what I had with the other batches, they have suggested that, sir, in between, if you are clarifying the doubt means it is disrupting the flow of the class, so better to handle the doubts after the break or at the end of the session. Okay, if you are also comfortable with that pattern, let's do that. So the thing is, there is no any rigid format. Okay, so let's plan according to your needs. Okay, so that's regarding the doubt. Then in between, okay, normal session is 2.5 hour class. So in between, by 1 hour 15 minutes or 1 hour 30 minutes, I'll be giving a 5 minutes time to refresh yourself. Okay, so you can refresh your minds. Okay, so you can relax, then you can come back to the class. So that's a normal procedure what I used to follow. So in between 5 minutes break, then as usual, let's continue the class. Okay, regarding the pace or the speed, okay, if you feel that okay, the class speed has to be reduced, okay, you can send it now and then. And regarding the slides, because sometimes due to connectivity problem, you may not be able to write down the slides. Okay, if I move the slides faster, or else because of connectivity, if I not copied, okay, you can ask me to go back to the slides. Okay, in that manner. If I'm not responding, okay, for example, without noticing your chat messages, I'm taking the class means you need not worry about it. When I notice your message, I'll go back to the slide, or I'll give you the time after the break or end of the session. Okay, so this is regarding the class procedures. Okay, so the doubts which you are very comfortable or not comfortable, okay, doubts which you want to be clarified now and then, you can send through chat box, or if you want to ask in person, you can ask us to unmute you, then you can proceed with the regular method. Okay, so that's your choice. I'll leave it to you. So this is regarding the class procedure. Now let me give introduction about the subject. Okay, now general economics. Okay, so under this topic, so first let me clarify about general economics. Okay, so the connectivity irka, okay, it's normal. Okay, so regarding the general economics, there actually, if you are looking out on internet for any material by typing general economics, you may not end up with general economics, because in our academy, for teaching purpose, we have divided the economics portion into two portions. One is the conceptual segment, core economics. Then using the concept as the base, we are going to learn about the other aspects of economy, which we call it according to our own convenience as general economics. With regard to UPSC doesn't have such kind of classification like core and general. So just for teaching purpose, when the class is scheduled as core, you can understand core. General economics means it is a part 2 portion. Okay, in that angle you can understand. So for part 2, what are the topics we are going to deal means, number 1, we're going to learn about the economic planning of India. You can copy the topic. You can copy down. So economic planning, nothing but the 5-year plans. 5-year plans, and then the currently Niti Aayog. Okay, so the first topic is economic planning. Today, we are going to learn about this topic, economic planning. Then we'll be learning about the 3 sectors of economy. Okay, 3 sectors we all know: agriculture, and then industry, and then the service sector. So we'll be giving the focus on agriculture. Agriculture. With regard to agriculture, you should have the understanding. Okay, what we are going to learn in our class means, with regard to UPSC perspective, agriculture questions are usually asked in 3 formats. Okay, one is they ask in the economic perspective. Second one is they ask in the agriculture perspective, or first one is economic. Next one is agriculture or agronomic perspective. Okay, then third one is geographical or environmental perspective. These are 3 things what you should prepare yourself. Okay, so one is economics, one is agriculture, one is the geographical environmental. Okay, So this geography and environment, so would have been dealt in the geography class, environment class. Then regarding the agriculture, after my class, you'll be having the class on agriculture. We'll be delivering 5 sessions to you. So this class may go in parallel along with my session, or once my agriculture session ends, the class may be scheduled for you. Okay. So you'll be having a separate class, 5 sessions for agriculture. Here we'll be learning about the agronomical terms. Okay, regarding the cropping pattern, regarding the agriculture, the core agriculture terms we'll be covering. In my class, we'll be learning about the economic aspect of agriculture, okay? Not about the agriculture or not about the environmental, will be the things which will not be covered. Which will not be covered in these areas, I'm going to touch in the economic areas, okay? And then here in agriculture economics, we have a topic called as a MSP and agriculture marketing. So these topics can be dealt in economics and also in agriculture. But in agriculture issues, we have kept those topics. So in my class, I'll be skipping those MSP and agriculture marketing, even though they can be classified as agriculture economics portion. Okay, so remaining all the things I'll be covering insurance, and then about agriculture credit, and then about agriculture subsidies, all the things I'll be covering. Remaining things to avoid the overlap will be covered in the agriculture issues class or agriculture class. Okay, so this is regarding the agriculture, what kind of understanding you should have. Okay, now third one is we'll be learning about the industrial sector. Now the student has asked on online, okay, so how many classes we have on general economics? So how many sessions? I think Archana has asked. We'll be having 9 classes, okay. As per the plan, we have 8 to 9 classes. But sometimes based on the doubts what you're asking, okay, so connectivity issues, when you ask me to repeat the slides and all, we may be having a plus or minus 2 sessions, because that's experience what we had this year. Regularly, when the class is completely offline, we can exactly tell the number of class. So when everything goes as per the plan, we will be having 8 to 9 classes, okay, maximum is 9. So when something goes beyond our plan, then the class may go up to 11 class, okay, so you can have that in mind, 11. So economic planning, agriculture, the industrial sector. The next one is service sector, service sector. The next one is social sector. In social sector, we'll be learning about the 2 important macroeconomic evils. One is poverty. What is poverty? Types of poverty. How do we measure poverty? These things and all we'll be covering in this segment. Then unemployment, same angle. What is unemployment? Types of unemployment. How do we measure unemployment? Yes, Magesh has responded. Sir, yes, after break or after class ends, you can clarify the doubts. Yes, Magesh, we'll do like that, okay? So as per your wish, okay, so no any rigid format and all, okay? 6th one will be covering about the investment models. I think this investment model will be very, very essential for the examination. Yes, and investment models, actually we don't have any exact materials available in online or offline for investment models. Investment model means what I talk about is, it is not about the planning model. Okay, planning model means when you type in internet, you may end up with the Mahalanobis model or Rao Manmohan Singh model, the reforms and all. Okay, that is normal thing. Okay, that is very static, very the old one. But the current one is the investment models. Okay, it is about the PPP model. You would have heard of public-private partnership, when the government and the private combine together when they do the investments in the economy. Different designs are there. Okay, one is a BOT, one is called as the HAM model, EPC model. Okay, like that, and the leasing model, management model, service model. So what is the exact difference and all? I'll be dealing in this class. This class will be very, very essential with regard to the notes dimension. Okay, why notes I'm saying means, for remaining things, notes may be available online and offline. We got plenty of materials, but here I combined from multiple sources, and then this is going to stay as a vital part for your UPSC preparation. Okay, so this one. So all these topics will be covering. So economic planning will be covering about the 5-year plans, then about Niti Aayog and all. In agriculture, we'll be covering about the economic aspects of agriculture. In industry, we'll be covering about the industrial policies, then about this recently Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan and all, okay, all the things make in India, and small industries, what is meant by micro, small, medium, all the things conceptually I'll be covering. Then social service sector, actually service sector, with regard to the UPSC preparation, this portion has actually got less importance. Okay, normally based on the number of questions which are asked in the examination, service sector we have only very rarely one question is coming once in 2 years. Okay, so you can give least importance. Apart from this, all the other areas are very important. Okay, so service sector alone you can give least importance, but just you will understand automatically when I tell you how to prepare. You will get the understanding. Okay. social sector, poverty, unemployment. So the conceptual portion I'll be covering in the class. Then after this, you have to update yourself with the paper and then regarding the schemes and programs. Okay. Same thing, investment models, all the concepts I'll be covering in the class. Then any updates coming in the paper, you have to update yourself. Okay. So these are the topics which we are going to cover in general economics. Okay. Now let me tell you, okay, what are the reference material you have to refer for all these topics. Okay, so that you can get yourself okay ready for the examination. Okay. Now these are the reference material. Kindly you can take down. சுந்தர் வீடியோ இஸ் நாட் ப்ராப்பர்னு சொல்றாங்க பாருங்க, செக் பண்ணிக்கங்க. வீடியோ இஸ் லாகிங், பிளர்டா இருக்குன்னு சொல்றாங்க, கைண்ட்லி செக். And Archana has asked, sir, will you be covering data from economic survey with respect to these topics? Okay, so actually economic survey is separate session we have planned to provide. Not only this topic, okay, including the core economics, it will be a separate session. I think ma'am will be handling the session. So accordingly, not only the general economics, general and core combinedly will be delivered in the economic survey. Okay, so I will not be delivering the economic survey. Okay. So can you please go to the previous slide? Yes, I think Ranjit. Okay, yes, Ranjit. First, kindly copy this slide, then I'll go back to the previous slide. So economic survey is very important for the general economics. Then class notes. Okay, second thing. Then this book. Okay, I am referring only a single book for general economics because always keep this point in mind. You may be familiar. The thing is, when we were preparing, okay, so during 2005 and all at the time, we were not having sufficient material, okay, because we used to prepare in Chennai, okay, and if we go to Delhi also, we may stay there for 1 year, then we will come back to the Chennai, okay. At the time, material scarcity was the biggest problem, okay, even the material is available. Other students, they may not give us the material, okay, that's a problem, okay. But now during your days, you got the plenty of sources, okay, so you have to shortlist which material is available because the thing is not about learning. When you are learning the same topic in 10 different books, there is no use, okay. So one book is enough means you stop with the one book, okay. So thing is you have to limit the material. So I am referring only a single book called as Indian Economy by Uma Kapila, Performance and Policies. This book I am recommending for mains examination, okay, not going to play any role in the prelims examination because now you may be having a shortage of time. So don't trouble your mind, okay, so should I get ready with the Uma Kapila means, because you may be having time constraint, not only economics, you have to prepare economics, history, geography, polity, multiple areas, okay, so you can prepare. Once after writing the prelims, then we are waiting for the results. In the meantime, you can give a read, okay, to this book, Uma Kapila. So I insist this book for mains, okay. Normally in the other batches, when I told about this book, students normally ask me a doubt, sir, Uma Kapila book, okay, so it's a big heavy volume book, okay. Can you please suggest us the topics which we can cover in Uma Kapila, okay. But the reply what I gave is, normally it's always better to read the complete book, okay. But even after that, students ask me, sir, because kindly tell us, because only the topics, from the topics, okay. So just for their convenience, I recommended certain topics, but normally the thing is, I don't recommend any particular topic. I recommend you to give complete reading, because there is a logic in UPSC preparation, okay. When you read a lot, at least you can write something in the mains examination, okay. But if you read less, okay, less means here not about the 2 or 3 books reading, okay. Within a single book I am recommending, but within a single book, when you are not ready to read means, then you may be suffering during the mains examination, okay. So here don't leave any topics. Give a complete reading, like a story book. You can give a read, okay. Next one is Yojana Kurukshetra, very helpful for general economics. Not for core economics, it won't be that much helpful, but general economics, very important with respect to the mains. You will understand the role of Kurukshetra and all in the mains examination, okay. Kurukshetra, exactly the rural development and all, you will get a very neutral opinion. For example, when you look at any news channels and all nowadays, okay, we are getting biased opinion, okay, based on the party's alignment and all, but here it's a very neutral opinion you may be. So based on neutral, you derive your own opinion. What I say, what others say, you don't, you develop your own opinion, okay. So get the concept from our end, then you approach it from your end, okay. Then only, because UPSC angle, it's not about taking sides, okay. It's so because you are going to get into the government, so we have to always write the points in the neutral way, okay. So get the neutral opinion. This is one of the best material, okay. Current affairs in a neutral, okay. Yojana Kurukshetra. Then current affairs. As usual, the master document for economics is newspaper, okay. The book, which is very essential, is newspaper, okay. Now, all these materials, let me explain it in a simple way, okay. So I told you the materials now. Now I'm going to tell you the reference material in a simple way so that you can remember in an easy way, okay. So before going to the simple way, okay, let me go back to the slide because Ranjit has asked me to go back to the previous slide. Ranjit, kindly copy. Okay, Ranjit, after copying, kindly text me. Okay, Ranjit. Now, so these are the materials I have given. No? So to remember this in a simple way, let me tell you. So economics has to be prepared in a daily basis, then in a monthly basis, and then in a annual basis, and then one-time basis. Okay, like that you have to prepare yourself. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you the platform. Now daily, what you should do for the economics. Then next one is monthly, what you should do for economics. Then annually, what you have to do for economics. Then one time. Okay, here you can write. Okay, one time investment, one time what you have to prepare. Okay. Now here, daily for economics, the thing is, before coming to the class, those who are from economics background, already you may be having some prior understanding. Other students, only after attending the class, now you may be able to connect with the paper. Otherwise, what is meant by fiscal deficit, what is meant by inflation, what is meant by repo, CRR, what they are doing, these things you may not be able to connect exactly. But now you'll have some understanding. The understanding will go to the further heights, okay, in the remaining days, in days to come, okay. So thing is, so now you got some conceptual base through the class. Now it's up to you to update yourself with the paper, okay. So our job is to deliver the base, then based on this you have to update yourself. So what is the main thing for economics is, so read the paper. To read the paper, the classes are helping you, that's all, okay. So you have to mandate read the paper. So daily for economics, both for core and both for general, what you should do is, you have to read the paper, the most essential document, okay. So newspaper, it's a mandatory to clear the UPSC examination till interview, okay. So newspaper, even a day before, okay, maybe asked in the interview, okay. So make it as a habit, like how we have food 3 times or 2 times a day, okay. Based on that, okay, read the paper. So first one. Then monthly, you write this Yojana and Kurukshetra. So when the month opens, when the day 1 comes in the calendar, remember, okay, my job is pending, okay. So okay, add in the to-do list, okay. So Yojana, Kurukshetra, monthly. So daily is a paper. So monthly once, okay, 1 day or 2 days you are spending for Yojana or Kurukshetra, okay. Then annually, okay, so you have to look at a document called as economic survey, okay. Once in a year, before the budget, okay, government will be releasing the economic survey. So economic survey is the document what you should refer once in a year, okay. Then in between, actually I left the weekly thing, okay. Weekly, why means because weekly we have a document. Do you know about the document weekly? Weekly document is essential for economics, not only for economics, even for the polity, okay, it is essential. Have you heard about EPW, Economic and Political Weekly, okay, that you can do, but not during initial days, okay, but after, okay, after the classes gets over, then you can read the EPW, because EPW will also be helpful for the mains examination. So weekly, I have not mentioned here, because even when you're not reading EPW, when you're reading the paper, that's okay. But if you ask me, sir, weekly is left out, why can't you recommend any material weekly, means you can write EPW, okay, but weekly is your choice. But all the other things are mandatory, okay, so all the other things are mandatory. Daily, this one is mandatory, monthly Yojana Kurukshetra, annual economic survey, okay. So now, daily exercise, then monthly exercise for economics, then annual exercise I have given, okay. Then one-time exercise, it is not the annually, it is not monthly, one time. When you prepare for general or economics, one-time investment you should do, okay. What is one time? That is the class notes. One-time investment class notes and the book what I referred, okay, Uma Kapila, or in core economics, the institute book or the Shankar Ganesh book, whatever is the book, okay. So one time is the attending the class, then going through class notes, and then referring the book referred by the faculties for core economics, general economics, okay. Here Uma Kapila. So core economics means this way, no, for now general economics. Core economics, what you will do now? Same thing, class notes. Then instead of Uma Kapila, Indian economy by Shankar Ganesh or institute material, then the paper. For core economics, Yojana Kurukshetra is not essential. Then for core economics, this economic survey is essential. That's all, okay. This is the platform, how you remember. So daily I should do some exercise for economics, monthly exercise, weekly exercise, annual exercise, then one-time exercise, one-time investment, anything you can apply, whatever word, okay. So this is the way to prepare yourself for general economics. If you miss anything, okay, so definitely will be having the impact respectively in the prelims or mains or interview. Sometimes out of luck, we may not have the impact, okay. But this is the formula for success for economics, okay. Keep this simple formula, okay. Daily exercise, monthly exercise, weekly exercise, and then annual, and then one-time exercise, one-time investment. Okay, so this is a simple logic what I have conveyed to you so that you can easily remember, okay. Don't remember this here. Now I told Uma Kapila, now after 1 or 2 years, okay, now out of experience or this book is getting outdated, some other book is getting published, okay. Here Uma Kapila can be replaced by some other book. So the thing is the same thing. Here Yojana Kurukshetra, instead of Yojana Kurukshetra, government is releasing some other book, you can replace, okay. But don't make the addition, okay, you can replace. One thing is enough, okay. But one thing, read it thoroughly, okay, that's more than enough, okay. So here, apart from this when you want to do ads, daily can I refer some websites instead of newspaper means after reading newspaper you can add the websites here. Okay, daily reading the, for example, from our side we are giving the news analysis, IAS Parliament, these things you can do. Okay, so these are the reference material for general economics. Okay, now let's get into the class. Now let me do the small summary. Okay, so what I have done till now, we got introduction about the general economics topics. I told about the topics we are going to learn in the class. One is planning, agriculture, then about secondary sector, then about service sector, then about social sector, then about the investment models. Then we covered about the reference material, what you have to refer for the general economics. Okay, now we are going to proceed to the class. Before proceeding, now a student has asked me a doubt, sir, how to read economic survey. Actually, to read economic survey, let me give you a simple idea. Okay, so a simple idea. Now, many of you would have watched tennis match or cricket match or football match like this. You would have looked at the scores, okay, based on your interest, okay, you would have seen, okay. Now, for example, take the one, cricket is one of the very popular game in our country, okay. Now, for example, now there is a scorecard is there, okay. Now, for example, now imagine, okay, we got a scorecard, okay. The scorecard reads like this, okay. This side we got the players, those who are playing, okay. On this side, okay, the balls faced by them, okay. Then runs, okay, taken by them, okay. Then based on number of fours, number of sixes, okay. Like that for all the 11 players, the scoreboard is here, okay. Like that, when look, for example, now we got the India-England, okay, 2020 matches going on, okay. For example, based on the matches, we'll be having different scorecard. For every game, England score, India score, like that we'll be having the scorecard, okay. What is the scorecard? It is about the numbers, the balls faced by them, then how many minutes they are in the ground, okay. Then the run sixes, fours, singles, twos, okay. Then, okay, caught by caught or bowled, okay, like that, the information will be given, okay. Now, looking at the scorecard, what will actually take from the scorecard? Can you make a guess? Or can you think about it? Okay, for example, scorecard is given in a hand. What actual information you will take from the scorecard? Whether you will try to memorize all the numbers, okay. So Rohit Sharma, what is the number of balls faced by him, and what is the number of run, okay, and then number of fours, number of six, then Kohli, like that, you will remember all the numbers, or what data you will infer from the scorecard. Just from the data, you will take who is the person who scored maximum run, okay, then who actually scored 0 run, okay. So you'll take only the information from the numbers, okay. So the thing is for economic survey, you need not just remember the numbers. From the numbers, you convert the numbers into information or messages. The messages alone is stored in your mind. That's all, okay. So very important data, for example, India's trade deficit, India's fiscal deficit, India's external borrowings. These data you can remember, okay. But all the minor data you can ignore, okay. It is a document of data, but it is not a document of data. It is the document of information, okay. How to remember means, let me give a small example, okay. Now, to connect this with the example, let me give a small example. Now, you tell me, for example, there is a student who has secured 70 marks in an examination, okay. What is your opinion about this mark? Imagine there is a classroom. In the classroom, the particular student has got 70 marks in the examination. What is your opinion or what is your comment about this mark? What is your comment, ma'am? What is your comment? So, average, okay, average is your comment, okay. Now, I have told you the mark secured by the student is 70 marks. Now, yes, very good. Out of what? Okay, she asked, okay, what is out of? The thing is 70, okay. Now, when I told the marks, okay, sometimes without looking at the out of, okay, without asking the question. Now, ma'am has asked out of, okay, without asking the question. Sometimes when we give the verdict, we may call it as average, okay. But here when you ask me, I may give the response, okay. Out of 100, okay. Out of 100 means what may be the verdict? Out of 100 means it's average. But here when I say 70, out of 70, okay, out of 70 means the mark is 70, but now how will you say, how your verdict will be delivered now? You will say it is excellent. So 70 out of 100 is average. 70, when the 70 is compared with the denominator, 70 is giving a different picture. What is the picture? It is excellent, okay. Now 70 out of 70, but not only this student, 70 out of 70, the other student has also secured 70 out of 70. All the remaining other students in the class, they have also secured 70 out of 70, okay. So this number, when compared to the denominator, is giving a different picture. This number, when compared with the peer group performance, now what you will say? When all the students have got 70 marks, now what you will say? All students 70 means no, something, because I think the question paper should be easy. So we are not ready to give excellent comment, but the mark remains the same, okay. But when you are doing the comparison, we are changing our opinion, which means the question paper may be easy, so it may be average performance, okay. Now look at the remaining thing, okay. So I will not change the mark. Here I told you 70, but here the 70 out of 100 is average, 70 out of 70 is excellent, but even 70 out of 70 compared with the peer group, it is becoming an average performance. Now the next one, okay, look at the thing. 70 out of 70 is the mark, okay. Remaining students, they also secured 70 out of 70. But this student, about whom we are covering, this student in the last examination and all his previous examination, he was scoring only 30 out of 70 or 20 out of 70. That is his past performance, okay. But this examination alone, the student has performed 70 out of 70, okay. Now what we will say, oh, then it means it's a very good performance, which means the same student, now we are giving different verdicts. So what is the thing I'm trying to convey is, okay, the numbers are numbers, but numbers, when they are compared with the denominator, it's giving different opinion. Numbers compared with the peer group is giving different opinion. Numbers compared to the past data is giving a different opinion. So the numbers, when you look at it as a numbers, it's a mere number, okay. But number, when you try to tap the information from them, the numbers become messengers, okay. Messengers of the student, messengers of the classroom, okay. The same angle, economic survey are the numbers. They are not the numbers, they are the messengers of our economy. Don't just look at the numbers, look at the information from the numbers, okay. That is a way to read the economic survey. Simple line, now I have given small information. Other things and all, when the class is properly delivered, okay, you'll be given what are the things you take out from economic survey, okay. Always, not only for economic survey, regarding the paper, sir, I'm getting plenty of data in the paper. What should do means, you should do means, you know, look at the data, okay. So from the data, you take the significant data, other things and all, you convert the numbers into information and then let the information be stored in your mind, okay, not the data, okay. So convert them into messages, okay. So this is the thing, how you have to refer the economic survey. Okay, so I given the information how to read economic survey. Now let's start the today's class. Okay, still now we had the introduction. Maybe the pace with which I delivered maybe a little bit faster. Okay, from now on, okay, so I'll try to slow down the pace, and then because okay, and then if I feel that the pace is faster, means you can ask me to reduce my speed at any time. Okay, so now let's continue the class. Today we are going to get into the topic called as economic planning. Okay, the heading economic planning in India. Economic planning. Economic planning in India. Okay, we all know that what is the meaning of the word plan, what is the meaning of the word economic plan. For example, plan. Today, we all know that the class is scheduled at 6 o'clock, okay. So by tomorrow, yesterday itself, you would have had some rough plan in the mind, at what time you should start from your home, or at what time you should start from your office, or what time you should get ready for the class, okay. You should have had some rough plan in the mind. Same angle, what is meant by economic planning? Economic planning means what are the resources we have in the country. Using the resources, what are the objectives we have for the country, how to employ the resources in an efficient way so that all the objectives could be achieved by the country, okay. Economically, planning the resources is called as economic planning, okay. This and all we are going to learn, okay. But before learning about the economic planning, we should have some understanding about the basic things, what we should cover about the about our economy, okay. Because why I am going to learn about the basics means, now we are going to learn about the economic planning, okay. After learning about the economic planning, for example, economic planning, okay, for example, the planning was done in India by the body called as the Planning Commission. Then they formulated many plans, the plans, first 5-year plan, second plan, okay. Through all the plans, India made this kind of achievements, okay. Now, when I tell about these achievements, okay, the achievements actually, when I tell, you may be able to understand the achievement, but you may not be able to exactly understand the achievement, okay. What I'm trying to say means here, for example, the same thing, I told you in an earlier example, the economic survey, the student was scoring 70, but the same 70, when it is compared with the past performance, it is giving some better picture, okay. The same angle, when you look at the current India, you may not be able to exactly understand the progress. When to understand the progress of the current India, you should know how India was in the past, okay. So, for example, when you are comparing with this, the 70% mark with the previous 60 marks, this 70 is not a better achievement, okay. 70 marks compared with the 30 marks in the previous examination, 70 is a better score. Same angle, how was India during the British period? Then how was India during 1947, okay. How we were suppressed during the colonial rule and how we were during 1947. Just we are going to have some small idea, okay, not in an elaborate way. Just we are going to brush up in this area how we were during the time. Then after that, we are going to step into economic planning in India. So two things, just without learning the past, we cannot exactly compare the present achievement, okay. So first thing we are going to learn about Indian economy during the pre and post independence. Pre-independence, how we were, and during the independence time, how we were, okay. How was our economy? Two things we are going to learn now, which will give you some idea about our economy. Two things. Indian economy, pre and post independence. Okay. So these things already you would have learned in history, but anyway, we are going to touch those topics with respect to the economic, okay, our economics according to our requirement, we are going to touch the topic, okay. So now Indian economy during pre-independence, I got two slides. One is for pre-independence. During the colonial rule, how was our economy? During the independence time, what kind of economy was given to our rulers? Okay, two things we are going to learn, okay. First, regarding the British rule, how was India, okay. First thing is Indian economy during British rule. First slide. So two things. First heading is Indian economy during the British rule. Indian economy during the British rule. Okay, so all the points what you're going to learn, already you would have learned in history. Okay, just we're going to bring it back. Okay, first one. Our economy during the British period, one by one, let me explain. Okay, first we can write the first point alone. Okay, during the British period, our economy was suppressed because of the land revenue system followed by the British, which was called by the name called as a Zamindari system. Okay, so this you may be aware, but anyway, it's my duty to give a small brief about Zamindari system. Okay, at the time you all know that the British introduced a kind of land revenue system, you know about. Okay, so when they introduced, okay, the three types of land revenue system. One was called as Zamindari, next one is called as a Mahelwari, next one is called as a Rayatwari. Three things are called. Okay, in Zamindari, so for example, if we have for example peasants or the farmers means, so this side we got the British government means, in between we'll be having a Zamindar. So the Zamindar, they will collect the rent from the farmers. Then the Zamindars, they will pay the rent amount to the British. Okay. So who are Zamindars? They are the intermediary between the farmers and then between the British. Okay. So here, these Zamindars, they will get more revenue when they charge more rent on the farmers. Okay. Higher the rent they are giving the British, higher will be the commission. So what they were doing means, they were charging more rent on the farmers, which normally we call it by the term called as exorbitant rent, high rent, rack renting. Okay. Like that, they were putting more charges. Okay. As a result, our farmers, they were losing interest because whatever income I'm doing, I'm sharing all the income to these people. These people, they are not putting their labor. These people not putting their investments. They are not coming to the farmland. All my hard work is getting wasted. Okay. So people were getting disincentivized, and then these people were small farmers. They were peasants, not capable of doing investments. But with the less investments, what they were doing, what the production achieved by them was shared with the Zamindars. Okay. So that is a mechanism. Zamindari is thing. This thing and all would have come across in history. Okay. So yeah, just I'm bringing Zamindari. Okay. But apart from Zamindari, one more system was also in practice. That is called as a Mahelwari, Mahels. Okay, Mahel means it's called as a villages. Okay, group of villages. It's called as a Mahels. So here, what is the practice means? Here, this side the British government. Okay, this side will be having the farmers. Group of farmers will be here. Here, this side means Mahel. Mahel means for example, 5 or 6 villages will be clubbed together. The 5 or 6 villages will be called as a Mahel. Then a village level committee will be appointed. The committee, they will determine the rent amount. They will collect the money from the farmers. Then this committee, how the committee is framed of, it's made up of the village level head. Okay, the village level head will be chosen by the village people. They will determine the rent amount. Then they pay the amount to the British people. Okay, but here, this system may appear as a better one, because here the people appointed by the villagers is becoming the head of the Mahel. They are determining the rent amount. If we think like that, okay, that is a norm. That is actually that's not that's not the mechanism which was in reality. Okay, reality, this Mahel, okay, so if the village people, they were not appointing. Okay, these Zamindars, actually they got into the Mahels as the head of the committee. Once again, the Zamindari mechanism was prevailing in the Mahelwari also. Okay, then third one is called as a Rayatwari. In Rayatwari concept is, there is no intermediary. The farmers, they themselves directly they can pay the rent amount to the British government. Okay, we can feel that it is comparatively better. Okay, but in reality, this system was also having its own evils. What does the evil means? Here, imagine the farmer, imagine myself, I am the farmer, okay, who was living during the Rayatwari period. Okay, what I will be doing means, if I am a farmer, I may not be having the interest to do cultivation, because I won't be having time, or may not be having interest. Okay, what I will do means, I will sublet, okay, for sublet my land to the another person. So another poor farmer, he will get the land from me. Now I will charge rent on this farmer. Then I will collect the money. I will pay the money to the British government. Okay, so which means the farmer himself, he will become a Zamindar. But based on records, he is the farmer. Okay, these are sublet. If the person tries to raise the voice, then next time what he will do means, he will cancel the agreement. He will give the land to another person because everything was based on oral records. Okay, so what is the point I'm trying to convey? It's not about this thing. Okay, so this is not the thing what we are learning. Okay, our thing is economic dimension. All the kind of three mechanisms, zamindari, raitwari and mahalwari, all three systems suppressed our farmers, and agriculture actually was lacking in productivity because of the disincentivized land revenue mechanism followed by the British government. Okay, this is the point. Okay, one line point is this. So zamindari system, you can write the point. All the other things I gave you just to get some understanding. That's all. Okay, now you can write. You can write the first line. You can write the point now. British introduced three type of land revenue system in India. British introduced three type of. Now here, if you already taken running notes, means you can go ahead with your running notes. Okay. So now I am giving from my side. Okay, you can write it. Okay, because the first during the initial classes I will be giving the notes. Then automatically you can understand. Okay. So you can decide on your own. Okay. British introduced three type of land revenue system. One is zamindari, then mahalwari, then raitwari. Mahal means villages, Rayat means the concerned farmer itself. Zamindari, Mahalwari, Rayatwari. Okay, the British introduced three type of land revenue systems in India. They were Zamindari, Mahalwari, Rayatwari. The next point. All three systems were exploiting the farmers. All three systems were exploiting the farmers. All three systems were exploiting the farmers. All three systems were exploiting the farmers through exorbitant rents. Through exorbitant rent. Through exorbitant rent. Through exorbitant rent. Next point. As a result, the agricultural production and productivity, agricultural production and productivity, agricultural production and productivity received a huge setback. As a result, agricultural production and productivity received a huge setback. As a result, agricultural production and productivity received a huge setback during the colonial rule or during the British rule. During the British rule or colonial rule or during the pre-independence times. Okay. So now economically we have connected. Okay. So our intention is to connect this scenario. Okay. What kind of impact this system was having on our agricultural economy. Okay. So not about the systems. Okay. So our purpose is to know about the impact on our agriculture. Next thing. Frequent famines, you can write the point, frequent famines. So you know about the famines. Okay, famines means lack of the production. As a result, people were starving out of hunger because of lack of food. This is called as a famine. So at the time during the colonial rule, we are having the frequent famine, not only the famine. So you would have heard about names called as a Bengal famine, Chalisa famine, Madras famine. Okay, so now and then we are having the famines. Okay, why means two reasons. Okay, one is the productivity. There may be a drop in the productivity because of that. There may not be availability of grains in the market, and we are not having the proper transport system also, because if Chennai is having the shortage, we cannot directly bring the things from the other places. We are having that connectivity, but later on, during the start of the 20th century, during 1910, 5 and all, the British somehow they established some infrastructure. Railways were established, so they're able to transport the grains to other parts. Okay, but even after that, after the transport, we are having the famines. Why means? During the early years of the colonial rule, the famine was mainly due to the food shortage, lack of production. But during the later years, after 1900, the famine was due to the purchasing power parity, okay, or due to the lack of purchasing power, which means the things were available in the market, but people were not having the income to buy them from the market. Because now only we have the PDS, now only we have the ration shops and all, okay. Only after independence, during 1960s only, government introduced, okay. At that time, the poor, with the money what they have, they would buy from the market, but they were not having the income to buy them from the market. So, initial years of famine were mainly due to the food shortage, but later years of famine were due to food shortage as well as lack of purchasing power. Two things were combined, okay. So, you can write the point, frequent famines. Frequent famine. So, during the colonial days, during the colonial days or colonial year, during the colonial period, famine in India was due to two reasons. 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 One is lack of food production, or simply you can write food shortage. Lack of production or food shortage. Number one is lack of food production or food shortage. Second one, lack of purchasing power. The things were available in the market, but people were not having the adequate money with them to buy the things from the market. Okay, because government was also not supporting them. We are not having the PDS or ration shop mechanism during those days. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, this thing, frequent famine is okay, you may be aware, but the point why I conveyed means you should have understanding. After 1900, the famine was mainly due to this. Okay, mainly due, but sometimes this thing was also occurring in our economy. Okay, so government took measures to address all the things only after independence. Okay, the PDS system, all the things. Okay, green revolution, everything actually addressed the food shortage, which we'll learn in the agriculture class and all. Okay, next one is that you can write this point. Agriculture got commercialized. Next, third point you write. During the British rule, the third problem faced by our own agriculture was agriculture commercialization. That's the next thing. Commercialization of agriculture. Next point. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of the word commercialization? Now, in a general note, when we approach the commercialization, it is nothing but when we got a particular piece of agricultural land, instead of growing the food crops, when you are trying to grow some cash crops, commercial crops, then it is called as a commercialization or growing the commercial crops. Okay. Example, when you grow the cotton, jute, sugarcane, any commercial crop, it may be highly rewarding, or it may fetch more revenue to the growers, so they may get more income. Commercialization based on economic perspective is very good to the farmer and good to the country, but at the time it was not good. It was detrimental. It was damaging the agriculture. In what way? Normal sense, commercialization is a good thing to any people involved. Okay, but at the time the kind of practice which was taking place is not good. It was very bad, detrimental to the economy. Okay, in what sense it was bad? Okay, because at the time the land whatever we are having was already having the shortage of producing the food grains. We are not having the adequate lands to meet the demands of our population. Already we are having the food shortage. Okay, so in this scenario, the lands what we are having for food shortage were compelled by the British government to get converted to grow the cash crops. Why they required cash crops? They needed the jute, they needed the cotton, all the things they required for the British industries, because at that time the Britain was undergoing industrialization. They required raw materials. To supply them raw materials, our land got converted into the commercial plots. Okay, commercial lands. Okay, as a result, the lands which were producing food grains, they got converted into commercial crops. As a result, India was having food shortage problem number one. Okay, because of commercialization. Second thing is, you may understand, sir, here, okay, let's leave the commercialization of leave the food shortage problem. When we try to convert the land what we are growing, in which we are growing the food grain crops, when we convert them into commercial crops, then these commercial crops will be highly rewarding. It would have fetched more revenue or more income to our own farmers. Okay, so then it's a good thing. No, like that you may ask a question. Okay, but here whatever our farmers produce were exported out of India or exported directly to Britain, not at the higher price. It was exported out of India only at lower price, at cheap cost. Okay, as a result, it was not rewarding to the farmers. At the same time, it was exploiting the farmers. The things what they are producing were moving out of India at very, very low cost, but not at a competitive price. Okay, as a result, one impact was we are having food shortage problem. Second thing is our farmers were not getting the good income for the investments what they were doing on the farmland. Second thing is it was not rewarding, it was exploiting. Third thing, to carry out the commercialization, farmers required more investments, but they were not having the money in their hands, so they borrowed money from moneylenders. So because of the moneylenders problem, they got into a scenario called as a indebtedness among the farmers. Because of the loan what they borrowed from moneylenders, they were unable to pay back the loans. Okay, because the income, only if they got good income, they had to repay the loans. They did not get good income, so they got into indebtedness. Okay, so three things. Okay, just making the connection. Okay, commercialization lead to the shortage of food grain crops. Second thing, it did not fetch good revenue to the farmers. Okay, because things were exported out of India at the lowest price, at low cost. Third thing is it resulted in the farmers' indebtedness. Okay, three things. Okay, you can connect. Now you can write the commercialization. Commercialization of agriculture was having commercialization of agriculture was having multiple disadvantages on our economy. Number one, it was having multiple disadvantages. Number one, shortage of food grain production. Shortage of food grain production. Shortage of food grain production. Second point, exploitation of farmers. Exploitation of farmers by the British industries. Second thing, exploitation of farmers by the British industries. Exploitation of farmers by the British industries. Exploitation of farmers by the British industries. Third thing, farmers got indebted to the moneylenders. Farmers, they got indebted to the moneylenders. Farmers, they got indebted to the moneylenders. Just you can get the point. You can write in your own words also. Farmers, they got indebted to the moneylenders. Okay. So the thing is, our purpose is to make the connection. What kind of impact the commercialization was having on our economy. Then this one, what kind of impact this was having. Okay, this is the same thing. Okay, in the angle, we're learning about the impact of the British rule. Okay. Next one is the deindustrialization. Next problem, what we faced during the British period was deindustrialization. Next one. It is nothing but, in simple terms, it is opposite to the process industrialization. Okay. When you try to develop more number of industries in an economy, then the process is called by the term called as industrialization. Okay, when you try to develop more number of industry. But when you are losing the industries from your economic landscape, then you call it by the term called as deindustrialization. Okay, why India was having this kind of scenario, why this process was taking place means, because you know that normally there is a certain stage of development process. Okay, for any economy. Okay, initially the economy will be agrarian. Okay, that is a normal process. Initially the country will be agrarian or agriculture oriented. Then after making good income from agriculture, then these people, they will start doing investments in secondary. Then slowly there will be the emergence of industry. Then because of the prosperity of agriculture, these people, they will do investments in agriculture, investments in industry. Then this industry will require more raw material. Then because of the prosperity of industry, agriculture will thrive based on the demand offered by the people from this side, and because of the demand offered by the industry, agriculture will also grow, secondary will also grow. Okay, at one point of time the industry will have the dominance. Then here the industry people, they require multiple services. Then agriculture people, they also require more services. For example, the farmers, they require education for the children, they require health, they require transport, they require communication, they require banking. Same angle, these people, they require communication, they require banking, they need education, they need health. So because of the demand, at one point of time, because of the strength of the agriculture and strength of the industry, the economy will be having the development of service sector. Okay, because that's a third stage of development. Service sector, when they will become dominant, means after once the agriculture gets strengthened, then industry, they get strengthened, then the service sector will emerge. Okay, so in that way, in our economy during the colonial rule, so because of the prosperity in agriculture, slowly the investments were taking place in industry, but industry was not that much mechanized. We are having the cottage industry, traditional industries in our economy. Okay, for example, at the time India was well known globally for textiles and handicrafts, jewelry, gems and jewelry. We are world famous at the time. Even the trade was taking place with the other countries. India was making good income. Okay, but here what was taking place means, when the people from agriculture, when they were doing gradual investments in secondary, slowly India was showing all signs of becoming a industrialized economy. Second stage of economic development or second stage of developmental process was taking place in our economy. When this thing was witnessed in our economy at that time, certain events happened, unwanted events was happening. What was that means? Here, when this thing was taking place in our economy, at that time, the Britain was undergoing the process of industrialization. Okay, because you know that at the time only the machines were invented. Okay, so at the time only the Industrial Revolution 1, Industrial Revolution 2, electrical energy, mechanical energy, all the things were invented, and Britain was undergoing a rapid industrialization. So they required raw materials. Okay, so to get the raw materials, they used India as a supplier of raw material through the commercialization process. Now, after producing the output, what they did means whatever they produced, they used India as a market for their finished goods. Okay, so two things. One is this process made India as a supplier of raw material, but here after producing the output, whatever they produce, the things were brought to India, using India as trying to make India as a market for the finished goods. Okay, as a result, when those output entered into our economy, so here the goods which were produced through the machines, they were low cost. So here the goods which were produced through the traditional process, we were unable to compete with the goods which were coming from the Britain. As a result, our domestic industries lost the market internally as well as globally. We lost the market to the finished goods which are coming from Britain. As a result, our industries, what they are facing means they were losing their prospects both domestically and internationally. As a result, the industries one by one they slowly got shut. Okay, and then the people, those who were employed in the industries, they came back to agriculture. Look at the scenario. Okay, so industries got deindustrialized, industry got destroyed because they were unable to compete with the goods which are coming from the Britain. Why means they were cheaper in nature. Okay, they were more better than the handmade goods. As a result, they occupied the market space both in India as well as globally. So we lost our export prospects as well as domestic prospects. So industries one by one they got shut down, and then the people they came back to agriculture. When they came back to agriculture, this event is called by the economic term called as a back to land events. Okay, what is mean? Let me repeat the word. Back to land events, coming back to land. Actually, it is a reversal process. Okay, from land people should move to industry, but back to land means coming back from where they went. Okay, from industry they are coming back to agriculture. It was a very damaging event which was taking place in the economy. That's why even now our industries are not strengthened. Okay, because at that time, at the right time when it showed the signs of moving, at that time the people they completely destroyed our industrial economy, or they deindustrialized the economy because of their own selfish interest. Okay, so these are the point what you should understand. Okay, now let's convert them into a simple points. Okay, now you can take notes. The colonial economy approached India. The colonial economy approached India in two ways to serve their commercial interest. The colonial economy, colonial economy of the British approached India in two ways to serve their commercial interest. They are the British economy or the colonial economy approached India in two ways to serve their commercial interest. They are, number one, to make India as a raw material supplier for British industrialization. To make India as a raw material supplier for Britain's industrialization. Two ways. Okay, number one is to make India as a raw material supplier. To make India as a raw material supplier for Britain's industrialization. Second thing, to convert India into a market to consume their finished goods. To convert India into a market to consume their finished goods. To convert India into a marketplace or market to consume their finished goods. Next paragraph. That's all. The two approaches you written. Now next thing. Okay. Next paragraph. When the British goods entered, when the finished goods from Britain, entered India, when the finished goods from Britain entered into India, then our domestic industries were unable to compete. With those goods. This paved way for destruction of our domestic industries. This paved way for destruction of our domestic industries, or this paved way for destruction of our domestic industries or deindustrialization. This paved way for destruction of our domestic industries or deindustrialization. This paved way for destruction of domestic industries or deindustrialization, which in turn led to back to land events in our economy, which in turn led to back to land events in our economy, back to land events, which in turn led to back to land events in our economy, which in turn led to back to land events in our economy. That's all. Okay, so giving some idea. So next point. This one we have done with this point. Okay. Next one is poor infrastructure. Okay, we are having the very poor infrastructure. So what was that means? The British government was focusing infrastructure only in two dimension. Okay, because now many people when we think about the pros and cons of the British rule, means sometimes some people they used to give a comment that even though they suppressed India, we got many economic disadvantages, they delivered us some good infrastructure. Like that we may have some arguments. But it's absolutely wrong. Why? Means because the British they focused on infrastructure only in two dimension. One is they focused infrastructure because they wanted to loot our economy, because they wanted to transport the raw materials to the country, so to have the proper connectivity so that the raw materials can be exported. So they did the infrastructure. That's one thing. Second thing is they wanted to suppress the revolt, suppress the people. So they wanted to administer the country in a proper way. So troops should land at the right time. So to govern the country, they had the proper infrastructure. Not for the people's welfare. Or people should have the proper place, or people, for example, to connectivity with the schools or hospitals. Like they did not have any focus. So the infrastructure was focused only in two aspects. One is regarding the transport of raw material, transport focus. Infrastructure was having focus only in two areas. You can write like this. Two things. One is transport focus, transport of raw materials, transport of raw materials. Second thing is to administer or govern the country. Administer or govern the country. Govern means to suppress the people. That's all. Administer or govern the country. These were the two main agendas. Not the infrastructure focus is not to develop our economy, not the developmental focus, to develop their own interest. That's all. So these are two focus. Focus of the infrastructure was in two dimension. One is transport of raw materials so that the cheap raw materials can be exported to their country. Next thing is to administer or govern the country. These are the two things. Next one, export import bias. What bias they are having regarding exports. So at that time, so we are doing exports, we are doing imports. But what kind of the policy they have followed means, when India is trying to export any commodity to any other country, they used to charge heavy duties, so that when our goods go to any other country, our goods will be sold at the high price, so we won't be competitive in the global market. That's the one policy. The same goods, when those goods were exported to Britain, those goods were allowed to be exported at the low cost. So the British will be receiving low cost inputs from our economy. The same angle, when the imports were coming from Britain, they were not charging any duty. So the British goods can step into our economy at the low cost. They can occupy the market space in our economy. Same angle, goods from other country, when they enter into our economy, they were charging heavy duty. So the goods from other country, they cannot use India as the marketplace for the finished goods. So the four dimension. Regarding exports, when the exports go to UK, one kind of the partiality. When the same goods go to other country, heavy duty. Same angle, when the goods come from Britain, no duty, so that the goods will be very low price, competitive in the market. Same angle, goods come from other country, they are using high duties. So that is the partiality or bias they followed. That you can write as a point. Export import bias, two things. One is regarding export. Next one is regarding import. Here, to Britain, no cost or low cost. No or low cost. You can write no or low duty. You write like this. To Britain, no duty or low duty. Exports to Britain, no duty or low duty. No or low. Next one, to other countries, to other countries high duty, to other countries very high duty, so that they cannot utilize the cheap nature of our raw materials. Okay, so to other countries high duty. If the letters are not clear, let me read this, you can copy this. Okay, exports to Britain no or low duty, to Britain no duty or low duty, to other countries very high duty, so they cannot utilize the cheap nature of our raw materials. Next thing, import, the same logic you can apply. What may be the point? Imports, when they come from Britain, you write the point, from Britain, what may be the answer? From Britain means no duty or low duty. From Britain, no duty or low duty. Then from other countries, very high duty, so the goods cannot enter into our economy. From Britain, no duty or low duty. From other countries, very high duty. Okay, so you got some idea. Okay, so regarding this export import bias or partiality, what they shown towards India and other country. Okay, so they're trying to make the most out of the Indian economy and out of the Indian people. Okay, according for their own interest. Next one, what is the thing is, you know that there is a saying in economics. For example, the kind of activity what is taking place in the economy, it should try to serve the interest of the own country or the interest of the own people. But during the colonial days, whatever type of policies which were framed at the time, they were not trying to serve the interest of our people or our economy. Okay, they were trying to serve the interest of only the ruler. Okay, which means we will act according to the tunes or according to the interest of the colonial ruler. So our economy is not an independent economy. So in all the dimension, we can call ourselves as a perfect example of a colonial economy where activities will taking place, but nothing will be aimed at the development of the own economy. Everything will be centered around the interest of the imperial ruler or the colonial master. Okay, that is called as a colonial economy. Okay, so in a nutshell, everything can be summed up under the heading called as a colonial economy. So you can write as a last point. Okay, colonial economy means economy where all the activities will be centered around the interest of imperial ruler. An economy where all the activities will be centered around the interest of imperial ruler or colonial master. Anything you can write. An economy where all the activities will be centered around the interest of imperial ruler. Okay, nothing will take place according to the requirements of the own people. Okay, that is called as colonial economy. So this was our economy during the British period. Okay, now, so because of all the things, okay, all the things happen at different point of time. Okay, different point of time from 1790. Okay, all the period. Okay, different events were taking place. Okay, so when we got independence, so this economy was given to our rulers. Okay, so when we got independence, what kind of economy was inherited by our own rulers? Okay, so same thing. Now we got some picture, same picture, but without using the same words, different words we are going to understand. Okay, so next slide, what we are going to learn is how was our economy during the time of independence. Okay, anyway, from this you would have understood agriculture is very backward, industries they got deindustrialized, no infrastructure. Okay, all the things you understood, but without using the same words, we are going to understand another way. Okay, so next slide we are going to learn is how was our economy during time of independence. Okay, small thing, no more detailed explanation here. So just a few points which will help you to understand the overall picture of our economy during the time of independence. Indian economy during independence. Okay, so now after leaving, forget about now after dealing about this economic suppressions during colonial rule, now we're going to have a look at how was our economy during the time of independence. Number one, all the points are self-explanatory. Wherever explanation is required, I will explain. Other things you can copy. Okay, our economy during time of independence was a pure agricultural economy. Now, before writing, can you tell me what is meant by agricultural economy? Economically, can you define? Now, when you tell the word, you'll understand. Okay, now overall view, maybe understand. But exactly how do you define the word agrarian economy? Or else, when you call economy as a industrial economy, okay? For example, you know that there are two important indicators or parameters, two things what you use to indicate about the prosperity of an economy. Okay, one is called as the national income of a country. One more thing is called as the employment scenario of the people. Okay, so here in any country, more than 50% of their national income and more than 50% of their employment, if it is coming from agriculture, then the economy is called as the agriculture economy. Same angle, if more than 50% of the income, national income, and more than 50% of the employment is coming from industries or secondary sector, then the economy is called as a secondary economy. Same angle, more than 50% of the income as well as employment is coming from service sector, then the economy is called as a service economy. Okay, now you would understood the plot. Okay, so based on this logic, in Indian economy during the 1947, our economy was an agrarian economy. Okay, more than 50% of the people and then employment was coming from agriculture. Workforce and GDP, very good, very good. Vinisha has given the response. Chandra Mohan, growth of an economy is propelled by, yes, very, very good. So in our economy was agrarian economy during those times. So more than 70% of India's income, okay, national income was coming from agriculture, and then nearer to 50% of the population was employed in agriculture. Okay, we know that. Okay, the thing is, even now, okay, this is a scenario what we have. More than 50% of the people even now are employed. Okay, that and all we learn in agriculture class. Okay, now at that time agriculture was having low productivity. I think you all know about the meaning of the difference between the word production, productivity. Okay, so it is efficiency or yield per hectare. Productivity was very low in agriculture because no research. Okay, nothing was taking place. Okay, not even investment was taking place. And how come the people will do research and all? Okay, so productivity was very less in our economy. So that's the second thing. Next thing regarding the factories, look at the data. Okay, 6% of national income only came from factories. 6% of national income only came from factories, and only 1.8% of the people were employed in factories. So that is very very negligible data. So 6% of national income and only 1.8% of the workforce were employed in factories. And our industry was import dependent. What is the meaning? Our industry was import dependent, which means most of the machines which are required to produce the outputs, they were imported from the other countries. We're not having the capability. Okay, we're not having the heavy industries or capital intensive industries in our economy. So we are dependent on other countries to import the machines. That is called as a import dependent industrial structure. Okay, then you can make it as a point. All the things got addressed only through the 5-year plans. You know about the second 5-year plan, Mahalanobis model. Okay, try to address the problem which we'll learn in the 5-year plans. Okay, import dependent industrial infrastructure. Then economic impact of partition. Okay, this thing you must understand. Okay, partition you would have learned about in a social angle. Okay, political angle you would have learned about all those things. Okay, economically partition was having a huge impact on our economy because our economy during the pre-independence times was structured in such a way. Most of the raw material producing areas were with Pakistan. Okay, so most of the raw material, cotton, jute, and rice, most of the things were in the Pakistan. Okay, many mills were located in India. Okay, cotton mills, jute mills, these mills were located. But after partition, unexpectedly sudden setback to our economy because the British, they did everything okay according to their plan. But here, most of the raw material producing area went to Pakistan. Most of the industries were in India. So here they were not able to run the industry. We are not able to run our factories. Many of our industry, more than 80% of India's industries, they got shut after the partition because of the lack of raw materials. Because before partition, the trade between India and Pakistan was internal trade. But after partition, it becomes international trade. Okay, because initial years it was allowed. Later on, we are having the huge impact due to partition. So India almost only by 1965, 68 only India was able to manage the shortage of raw material or deficit of raw materials. Till then, till about 20 years, India suffered a huge setback because of the partition. Okay, so this is the important thing you should remember. So because of the partition, the raw material producing areas went with Pakistan. The industries alone, they got stayed with the Indian economy. Okay, as a result, our industries were struggling to get the raw materials. So most of the industries, they faced shutdown because of the deficit of raw materials. Okay, then you make it as a point. Okay, so outright means partition affected the raw material availability to cotton, jute. Partition affected the raw material availability or raw material supply to many industries in India. Example, cotton, jute, etc. Partition affected the raw material supply to many industries in India. Example, cotton, jute, Economic impact example is student has given. Chandra Mohan, okay, jute plantation, East Pakistan, okay, but jute mill industries are present only in West Bengal, yes, okay. So then only later on only we rectify the issues, okay, because it was unexpected impact, okay. So we are having the impact in the economy, okay. Next one is famines. As usual, what we have learned, it continued. It was not continued. We were having during 47. Later, we addressed the famines. In the later years, India addressed the main role to address the famines. Credit goes to the Green Revolution, irrigation structures, many more things. Okay, so planned economic development was initiated in our economy after 1947, and exactly from 1950 onwards. Okay, because from then on only we established the Planning Commission. Okay, so which we will learn in our planning class. Now, next slide is stagnation of growth. Stagnation of growth. What is the meaning of the word stagnation of growth? You know that the growth of the country is measured based on the growth rate, okay, 0.3, 5%, 5.5, like that we used to call, okay. But during the time of independence, our economy was growing only at the rate of 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, maximum was 1%. 1% means it was a phenomenal, okay, like that, because that was the growth rate, which means our economy was not even growing, it was very stagnant. Many times the growth was very backward in our economy, okay. So for 50 years and 100 years and all, our economy was growing at the rate of 0.3 to 0.5. Then imagine, okay, then how our economy would have suffered at the time. So during the independence time, our economy was growing at the rate of 0.3 to 1%. That is the maximum growth, what we are witnessing during the time of independence. Next one, our per capita income. Look at the value. Per capita income was only 238 rupees at the time. Even to the inflation standards which was prevailing at that time, it was very, very low. Okay, so it was very, very low. So per capita income, it came around approximately 20 rupees per month. Okay, it was a per capita income. It was more than 10 times, 15 times lower than the other countries. So per capita income was very low at the time. Then vicious cycle of poverty. Have you heard about this vicious cycle of poverty? So you normally you know about the meaning of the vicious cycle, you may be aware. Now how we are connecting with the word poverty means here, one negative will lead to the sequence of negatives in the economy. Okay, here the poverty leading to poverty. Okay, that is the reason. Now look at the example what I'm going to say. Okay, so at that time our economy, people were living under the poverty. So poverty means, what is the definition for the word poverty means? Lack of income to meet the basic needs of life is called as a poverty, or simply when a person is called as a below poverty line, it means that the person is not having the basic income to meet the basic needs. Okay, so at that time there was a widespread poverty in the country. Okay, because of poverty, what was the resultant impact is, now you know the meaning of the word poverty. Poverty means lack of income. Lack of income to meet the basic needs. So when a person is not having the income to meet the basic needs, then how the person will be having surplus? He may not be having the surplus. When he doesn't have surplus, then how the person will go and do the savings and all? There is no scope of savings. Okay, so if there is a poverty means no income or low income. Okay, so no income or low income. So low income means no savings. No savings means I won't go to bank. Okay, I will not put my savings. Okay, no surplus means, so imagine if I got any savings only, what I will do? I will go and put my savings in the bank, because in the core economics class you would have learned about the concept called as inflation. What is the meaning of inflation? For example, today I have got 100 rupees in my hand. Today what I am doing is, same 100 rupees, I am not spending it, I am keeping it at my home. Okay, next year same 100 rupees if I take out means the money may be same, but the value would have lost. Okay, so if I keep the money in my hands, the money value will be get eroded. Okay, to avoid the erosion of value, what we are doing, we are taking the money, we are keeping the money in the form of investments. Okay, we are putting the money in the form of the gold or shares or bonds, okay, or bank deposits. So the money is making the move out of our homes only because of the concept of inflation. Okay, if there is no inflation, people will not be incentivized to do the investment. So imagine that what we'll try to do means, to avoid inflation, we'll try to save the money in the proper places. Okay, so when the person has got savings, what they will do, they will do the savings in the banks, investment. Okay, so when the banks, they get the savings, what the bank will do, the bank, they will convert the savings into loans. So when the people get the loans, they will do the investments. When they do the investments, what will happen? Production will happen. When the production happens, employment will be given to the people. When the employment is given to the people, people will get income. When they get income, they can satisfy the needs. Okay, that is a normal flow. Okay, so here at that time we are having poverty. Because of poverty, low income or no income. Because of low income, no savings. Because of no savings, no investments. Because of no investments, what is the result? Okay, no production or low production. No production or low production means, what is the net result? No employment. No employment means no income. No income means no poverty. Able to get the point? This is one cycle, okay? Another cycle is, I am poor, so I don't have any intellectual wealth, which means I may not be having the access to education, okay? I may not be able to update myself or upgrade myself, okay? So if I am not properly skilled, if I am not educated, then I may not be able to get the job. If I don't get the job, no income, once again I'll be in poor, okay? So individual perspective, poverty leading to poverty. Then in the macro perspective, poverty leading to poverty. Able to get the point, okay? Macro angle, so all the people are poor. When they are poor, they are not having income. When they don't have income, they cannot save. When they cannot save, they cannot make deposits in the bank. When they cannot make deposits, then there is no loan. No loan means no investment. No investment means no production. No production means no employment. No employment means no income. Once again, poverty. That is a macroeconomic angle, okay? Individual angle, I am poor, so I may not be having access to education, or I may be unskilled. Because of unskilled or uneducated, I may not be able to get the job. Because of my unemployment, then thing is no income, then poverty. This cycle was continuing generation after generation in India. So individual perspective, micro perspective, as well as macro perspective, we are having the vicious cycle of poverty in our economy, okay? That you write, okay? Our economy was having vicious cycle of poverty. Sir, can we say the human capital also faced a setback? Yes. Okay. All sort of capital we had a setback, but somehow the human capital got compensated because we are having the unskilled in our side also. So, but the major thing is raw material was a major thing, but this can be lighter note, can be taken. Okay. Next one is the vicious cycle. Do you want the flow chart? Should I tell, or you'll write? Okay. Flow chart, if you want write means 2 dimension you can write. One is poverty. You can write a line. Poverty means low income. Low income means no savings. No savings means poverty. Low income, no savings. No savings means no investments. No investments means no production. No production. No production or low production. No or low. Both words you can use. No or low production. Then no or low employment. Employment opportunities. No or low employment. Then no employment means low income. Low income is poverty. So the cycle will continue. Because of poverty, poverty is continuing. That is a macro angle. Individual angle, poverty. So unskilled or uneducated. So unemployed, then low income, then he is becoming poor. Okay, that is individual angle. Okay, individual angle when you want to write means you can write. Okay, he is poor. Then because of that he is uneducated or unskilled. Uneducated or unskilled. Because of uneducated or unskilled, he is unemployed. Because of being unemployed, he is making low income. Because of low income, he is once again poor. Okay, so the individual angle, cycle continues. So 2 cycle. One is a country angle, one is an individual angle. Okay, so this is a vicious cycle of poverty. What is the opposite one? Recently, last year economic survey, government has mentioned a word called as we have to address this virtuous cycle of poverty with I use the word, okay, vicious cycle with the virtuous cycle of poverty. Okay, now government is arguing. So countries should be incentivized. People should be incentivized to do more investments. When you do more investments, what will happen? More production, then more employment, then actually high income. High income will lead to high savings because cycle continues. Okay. So trying to address the negative by doing a positive initiative. Positive initiative lead to another set of positive initiatives. That is called as a virtuous cycle. Opposite thing, what we are, okay, in the mains angle and all, when you write the points, you can write, okay. So we are having vicious cycle of poverty, but now government is taking the measure to address the thing by introducing virtuous cycle of poverty and all, okay. So now, next one is low level of urbanization. Okay, at the time, the urbanized areas, okay, so low level of urbanization, you can write the point. So at that time, our society was highly polarized with respect to the rural nature. So we are having the rural areas more in number than the urban areas. So only 14% of the areas were urbanized in India. Remaining 86% of the areas were rural in nature. Okay, that was India's nature at the time. Only 14% of our economy was urbanized. Remaining areas were rural without the adequate facilities. So this was a scenario what we were having at that time. Okay, so we got some overall picture about our economy. So with respect to colonial rule and during independence, colonial rule, how we are suppressed by the rulers, and during independence, what sort of economy was inherited or was given to our rulers. Okay, from then on we started our journey of economic planning. Okay, now the time is 7:30. Okay, Now, shall I give the break? Which one? Na? Okay. This one I have not mentioned. No, widespread inequality. Okay. So at that time, now let me give an example. Inequality and all, you may be aware of inequality. Inequality means, okay, the divide between the people. Okay, one is very, very rich, one is poor. Okay, that we know. So in India, we are having the one side, we are having the prosperity. One side, okay, people are poor. So like that, we are having inequality. Okay, but within the inequality, let me give a small example. Okay, so here, look at this value. Based on this value, let me cite the inequality. Okay, so this is 238 rupees was the income, per capita income. This income itself was a very low value. Okay, now when you convert them into monthly angle, 238 by 12, okay, this comes around 20 rupees or 19 rupees something. Okay, let's take it as 20. Okay, 20 rupees was the average income made by Indian citizen at the time. So this was a value. But now you combine this point and this point. Okay, you'll get a different dimension. Okay, so inequality means, what is the logic means? Let me give you one more example, then you can understand this picture. Okay, now imagine that in India, one person is getting 10,000 rupees per month. Okay, another person is making 1 lakh rupees per month. Okay, but now both the data are combined together. Now we ask me to tell what is the average income of the two people. What will be the value? 55,000. 1 lakh plus 10,000 is 1 lakh 10,000 divided by 2, 55,000. So now I'm going to tell you the average income made by the two people is 55,000. Is it right or wrong? It's completely wrong. One person is making 10,000, another is doing 1 lakh, but when you are doing the average, we are getting a completely different picture. The average is 55,000, but the reality is one is 10,000, one is 1 lakh. The same logic you apply here. Okay, 20 rupees was lower, but how we got 20 rupees means, okay, one side the people are making making 100 rupees, okay, and another side the people are making 20 rupees, okay. 100 plus 20, what is, or else one side they are making 110 rupee, on one side people are making mere 10 rupee, okay. So when you divide this, okay, so not this, okay. So how means, for example, one side people are making 18, okay, not 18, okay, 38. One side people are making 2 rupee, okay. 38 plus 2, this value comes around is 40, okay. So 40 divided by 2, the value will be 20, which means one person is making 2 rupee, another person is making 38 rupee. On an average, we are getting the value called as a 20. By looking at 20, we may think it's okay, but 20 is due to the 38 rupees, not to the 2 rupees. Okay, this side we are having the huge inequality in India. Okay, extreme angle. The same example what I told you, the 1 lakh 10,000, then 10,000 example, or 38 2. This you can make it as an example. Understand the inequality of our economy. One side the people, the landlords, the zamindars, other people, the industrialists, they were making this kind of income. Okay, but the peasants, the normal people, they are not able to make even the 2 rupees income in economy. But overall angle, we are coming with the data called as 20 rupees per individual. We are getting this shows the inequality of economy. Region wise, we are having, people wise we are having, caste wise we are having, all sort of inequality. Okay, so gender wise, all sort of inequality we are existing in our economy. Okay, so these were the points, or this was the type of economy given to our own rulers. Okay, from there we commence the journey of economic planning. I think the time is 7:35. Now we can refresh your minds. You can take a 5 minutes break, then remaining things let's start after a break. Okay, you can take a 5 minutes break, you can relax yourself, you can come and start the class after 5 minutes. Okay, now take a break for 5 minutes. Karthik, you have left mass literacy. Yes, Karthik, yes, Karthik. I missed mass literacy also. I'll do it, do this. Vasant, so Saturday and Sunday class will be connected in Anna Nagar branch. Yes, Vasant. Saturday and Sunday classes, I'll come and take the class in Anna Nagar branch only. Okay, here tomorrow we got 2 sessions, so I'll be taking the class here. Okay, Anna Nagar itself. Okay. Previous slide, Arshia Taj, have you copied? And then I have left the mass illiteracy. No, okay. Let me explain the mass illiteracy also. Thanks, Karthik, for reminding me. Yes. Okay. Okay, Arshia Taj, kindly text me if you have copied. Okay, in the meantime, let me explain the mass illiteracy point, okay, because it's very simple. At the time, our country was having the mass illiteracy because you know that out of 7 people, only 1 was educated, okay, that's the level of literacy. So it was a huge problem to our rulers when we got independence, okay. What was the nature of problem we encountered because of the illiteracy means, you know that to educate the children, okay, we need proper schools and then we need proper teachers, okay, but at the time, the level of literacy was only 7 or 1 out of 7 was educated, and among these people also few they were graduates, they were postgraduates, okay. Many people they got on 10th standard pass or they able to read and write, that's all, okay, which means they were not that much qualified to educate the future generation, but we got left out only with those resources. We cannot bring teachers from abroad, okay, we cannot give them salary, we are not having the kind of fiscal scope to do that and all, experiment that and all. So India faced a huge setback when we tried to educate our children at the time, okay, because people, those who passed 5th standard, 7th standard, 10th standard, okay, appoint as teachers because no other no other option, because that's the hardships faced by our rulers, because we used to blame our rulers also, because but when you think about this simple point, automatically you can weave multiple points, okay, or you can get many clues. So without having teachers, how the government would have educated, okay, because now we feel India has got good human resources, demographic dividend, okay, educated people, and how we got means, so we should know about the constraints what we had at the time. So without having the human resources and then not having schools and all, we are not having schools because we may just in a single line we may say, why can't we build school, okay. To build school you need certain raw material. At the time we are not having raw material and all, okay, no raw materials, no industry, no steel industry, no cement industry, nothing we are having. So we have to establish an industry. Now question will come, okay, to establish the industry we need the money, okay. India was not having the money, our economy is agrarian, very suppressed, okay. Without money how we will build the industries, without building industries how we can build the schools, after building the schools how we will give the salary, how we will appoint the teachers, okay, because the hardships was very huge, okay, because then we can exactly understand, oh, even though we got disadvantages, our country has made this much travel, okay. So like that we can appreciate the efforts also. One example is the mass illiteracy, okay. The literacy was very low, 1 among 7 was educated, so that is the biggest problem what we face, okay. You can write, okay, mass illiteracy you can write 1 out of 7 was educated. India was educated, so India encountered the problem of educating future generations due to this, okay. Yes, copied. Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so we are done with these slides. Okay, so now till now we have learnt about the 2 things. One is how was our economy during the colonial rule, then how was our economy during time of independence. 2 things we have covered. Now we are going to step into the core areas, the core topic, okay. The topic is economic planning. As we know, just I have given the definition for the word planning, okay. Before writing, just you can have a look at the slide, okay. What is a planning means? It is nothing but it is a concept of understanding or analyzing the resources what we have and then putting them or properly employing them to achieve certain objectives. What are objectives? The objectives may be macroeconomic objectives or macro political objectives or social objectives. To achieve all that, how we are utilizing the resources in efficient way, okay, not in a normal way, efficiently how we are using them, okay. So that is called as the economic planning, okay. Now we can take down the definition for the word economic planning. Prelims angle definition is not important, but mains angle, when you ask some question about economic planning, to give a proper start, you have to write the proper definition, okay. So economic planning is a concept of, or it's a process of organizing the resources in a systematic manner to accomplish the macroeconomic, political and social objectives of a country. Copied? Fine. Okay. So now we got the definition of the word economic planning. Okay. Now let's learn about the other things. Okay. Now we're going to learn about this slide. Okay. What is the slide means? Explain the slide. You know, right? Now the economic planning of India commenced in the year 1951. So you not right? Listen. Okay. So the 5-year plans of India, the original 5-year plan was introduced in the year 51. Okay. But the planning commission was started during 1950. Okay, because you know that the plans were prepared by the planning commission. The planning commission was established on 50 for 3 years after independence. Then India's first 5-year plan was introduced on 1951. Okay. But actually, from where India got inspired, okay, is it our own idea or where we got inspired from some other people or some other country? Means the 5-year plan model is not our own idea. We got inspired from the Russian experience, because Soviet Russia, they implemented the 5-year plan on 1928, Russia, they have proposed their first 5-year plan, or that is the world's first 5-year plan. Okay, they proposed it during 1928. It was implemented during the Stalin period, and India implemented the plan during 51, during Jawaharlal Nehru period. Okay, so here, so why I am telling these points and all, India got inspired from Russia. They proposed the first 5-year plan on 1928. India proposed it on 51. So in between, okay, India got independence on 47. And before 47, we were under the British rule. So when we were under the British rule, Russia, they have proposed the plan. So those Russia's 5-year plan came to India's ears when we were under British rule. But at that time, we are not able to formulate the plan because we were under the British rule. So during those years, between 1928 to 1951, so 47 we got independence. But before that, between 28 to 47, when we are having the understanding of the Russian plan, at that time we are not able to make our own plans because we are ruled by the British. But at that time, many people, those who are having some economic vision, those who are having some political vision or social vision, they proposed their own ideas under different names. Okay, those names were called by names called as a Vishwesvaraya plan, Congress plan, Gandhian plan, People's plan. So what does this means? Between Russia's plan and between India's official plan, many people, many eminent economists, many people, social activist people, they made their proposals under different names. The proposals were called with a name called as a Vishwesvaraya plan, Congress plan, Bombay plan, Gandhian plan. So all these plans included their own ideas. For example, if we become independent, we have to include this idea. Vishwesvaraya, he proposed a kind of model. Okay. Then Gandhian plan, it proposed a model. If we become independent, we have to adopt this kind of planning. Then India can prosper. So these were the ideas given by the people, but these were not the official plans of India. Official plan of India or the formal plan of India was proposed only on 1951. These were the informal plans proposed by many people between the period 1928 to 1951. Okay, what were they? We are going to learn about them one by one. Okay, so write the heading as historic experience of economic planning. Write the heading as historic experience of economic planning in India. Historic experience of economic planning in India, 1928 to 1951. Historic experience of economic planning in India between the period 1928 to 51. One by one, we are going to learn about the plans. Okay, so they are not the formal plans. These were the informal plans proposed by different people. Okay, historic experience of economic planning in India. Sorry, I left the word economic planning. Okay, historic experience of economic planning in India between 1928 to 51. Now let's learn about the first plan. Okay, regarding the first plan, okay, what are the points mean? Let me explain the points, then you can take the notes. Okay, so this plan has got a higher amount of level of significance. Okay, why means? Because this plan is considered to be the India's first economic planning, which means for the first time our economic landscape got the experience of economic planning only through this plan. Prior to that, we are not having any kind of plan. Okay, so when means on 1934, Vishwesvaraya, you know about Vishwesvaraya, the famous engineer. Okay, so people from Bangalore, you may have the experience. Okay, so Vishwesvaraya from 1934, he wrote a book called as Planned Economy for India. He wrote a book. In that book, he made a 10-year proposal. Okay, in the book, in Planned Economy for India, he made a proposal called as 10-year proposal or 10-year plan. So in that plan, he proposed that. What does the proposal means? Now in India, currently many people, they are employed in agriculture. So why can't we shift the people from agriculture to industry? So if the people gets shifted from agri to industry, then automatically economic growth will also take place in industry. So when economic growth that takes place in industry, then our GDP will also become doubled in 10 years. That is a proposal. So in one line, how we can summarize means this plan proposed for shifting the people from agri to industry. So if it happens in 10 years, the GDP of economy can be doubled. Where it was proposed means this plan was proposed in a book called as Planned Economy for India. Okay, these are the points what you should remember. Okay, one more point you can remember it, because in many of the state service commission, not in the UPSC, many state services, the TNPSC, many examinations, they used to ask this question, okay, which was the first economic planning experience in India? So this question was asked 2 or 3 times in TNPSC and all. So answer is Vishwesvaraya plan. That is the first time India experienced a kind of planning process. That is not the formal experience. Informally, we just because it was proposed by the person. Okay, now we can write the points one by one. Okay, let me dictate the points one by one. Vishwesvaraya plan. Okay, this plan was proposed by Vishwesvaraya. Was proposed by Vishwesvaraya. That's why we are given his name itself. Okay, proposed by Vishwesvaraya. Point number 1. When means in 1934 he wrote a book. The name of the book was called as Planned Economy for India. He wrote a book. Okay, look at his vision. Planned Economy for India. So when means based on Russian experience after 6 years. Okay. Based on our own requirements, he gave his vision. Planned Economy for India. He proposed a 10-year plan. So now before writing, let me give you an idea, okay? How you have to approach this content for the examination is, now a statement may be given by UPSC, okay? Consider the following statements with regard to economic planning in India, okay? Now statement may be, Vishwesvaraya plan is the first 5-year plan proposed in India. So statement is a wrong one. Vishwesvaraya plan is a 10-year plan proposed in India. So in this angle, okay. Or Vishwesvaraya plan gave more importance to agriculture. It's a wrong thing. Vishwesvaraya plan recommended to shift the people from agriculture to industry. So in this angle, all the significant points I'm going to tell, in this way you approach the content, okay. That's how they may ask in the examination, okay. So 10-year plan, okay. They made a 10-year proposal. It is 10-year plan. Then shifting the people from agriculture to industry. 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 Shifting the people from agriculture to industry will result in doubling the economy in 10 years. Shifting the people from agriculture to industry will result in doubling the income in 10 years. Will result in doubling the national income. Okay, doubling the national income in 10 years. Shifting the people from agri to industry will result in doubling the national income in 10 years. Then last point. This plan is considered to be India's first experience. This plan is considered to be India's first experience in the area of economic planning. This plan is considered to be India's first experience in economic planning. This plan is considered to be India's first experience in economic planning. That's all. Okay. So all the points what we have written in the notebook, okay, may be asked in the examination. Okay. Planned economy for India in 34. But UPSC and all, they won't ask 34 and all. But TNPSC, they may ask 34. Okay. But UPSC angle, you remember. But other things, okay, when you learn, okay, you write group 1 and all, sometimes these things may be asked. Okay. So shifting the focus from agri to industry will lead to the doubling of national income in 10 years. This plan is considered to be India's first experience of economic planning. Okay. Now next one, Congress plan. Have you all copied the points? Next one is a Congress plan. So the most important things I have mentioned. Now apart from this, other minor points and all will be given in the book. Okay, actually you will be given one more book from our side. Okay, now till now you have got the core economics. General economics part 2 book also will be given to you. Okay, so in 10 days or in 1 week will be given to you. So in that some other minor points regarding the plan will also be given in that book. Okay, so next one is Congress plan. So what is a Congress plan? Means in 1938, All India Congress Committee, okay, so they proposed a plan, okay. So they 1938 they proposed a plan. So the plan was proposed by two people. They were the front runners for the plan, okay. Who were they? Means Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. They proposed a kind of economic planning through the Congress. So as it was proposed through the Congress, the economic planning is called with the name called as a Congress plan, okay. So in 1938, All India Congress Committee, they proposed economic plan, proposed an economic plan. So who are the main people? Means Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose were the think tanks. Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose were the main front runners or think tanks of the plan. So Congress, they proposed an economic plan on 1938. Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose were the main front runners for this plan, okay. Now, what were the main concept proposed by the Congress plan, okay? Number one, Congress plan, they made a strong proposal. What was the proposal? We permitted the British people to enter into our economy to do business, okay. But their business interest got converted into commercial, not into ruling interest, okay. They exploited the people, they suppressed the people, they converted because of the commercial interest, they started ruling the people, okay. So what is the origin? Origin is their commercial interest got converted into ruling interest. The same angle. In the future, when we become independent, when we hand over the economy to the private players, the privates, they may run the economy only for their own interest, not according to the interest of the economy, okay. So who is the better option to run the economy? So the economy should be led by the government. Government should dominate the crucial areas of the economy. Privates should not be permitted to operate in the areas, okay. So in the certain areas, privates can be permitted, but in the areas of national interest, only the government can take the lead role, okay. One is national interest. Second thing, government only can do the larger investments in the economy, okay. So these are the things. So point number one is, so they proposed for the government-led investments in the economy, okay. We may make it as next point. State-led economic development, state or government-led, okay, state-led economic development, state-led economic development. So this point, just I am pitching as a single point here, but we will be learning about this point for more than 1 hour in the industry class, okay. The exact scenario we'll learn more in detail, okay, because you know that even now when we go to any rural area and all, okay, when a person says I got employed in a private company, so the people of the earlier generation, they won't give more respect, okay. Only government jobs will be given more respect. Why this kind of mindset is in among the people? Means because for generation after generation, since 47 to 91, all the largest company, bigger companies of India were coming under the government, okay. ONGC, Bell, GAIL, SAIL, NTPC, Coal India. So that's why even now, but now the scenario is different, okay. But why means this kind of mindset got created, again more space was given to the government company. How and all, we'll learn more about them in the industry class, okay. This point you'll be having a more understanding in the industry class. Now small mention I mentioned here, okay. State-led economic development. The next point is second point. Second angle, okay. So the first thing is state-led economic development. Next one. Here they proposed that Congress, they proposed that now economic planning is going to be a very crucial exercise to our country, okay. But here, if this is frequently intervened by the bureaucrats or officials, okay, then it may not achieve its purpose. So it should be given some sort of independence, okay, and then there should be a separate body design. The body must be assigned the role of framing the economic plan, okay. So a separate body for economic planning must be established. It should not come under the work of existing departments. So like that, they envisioned this concept. So based on these lines, they established a body also. The name of the body was called as National Planning Committee. And Nehru was made as a chairman. Don't get confused with the word what I used and then going to use in the future segment, okay. For example, now the word I used is National Planning Committee. This is different from Planning Commission. Commission was established after independence, but All India Congress Committee, they established a body called as a National Planning Committee. Later on, after independence, Planning Committee got dissolved, okay. We established a Planning Commission. Planning Committee by the Congress, but Planning Commission by the Government of India, 1950, okay. So don't get confused. Why means, what the connection is? The Congress, they envisioned that there should be a separate body for planning. So they established a body called as National Planning Committee. So when India got independence, so Congress, they came to power. So based on their vision, based on the idea, they established a separate body called as a Planning Commission, okay. So Planning Commission was established based on the earlier concept of National Planning Committee, okay. Got the point, okay. So they proposed, what is the proposal? There should be a separate body for planning. They established a body also. Name of the body was called as National Planning Committee, and Nehru was made as a chairman, and it was given the task to make some suggestions and then to preparatory works regarding the economic planning. But after independence, on those lines, we established a separate body called as a Planning Commission. Okay. Now next point you write. Okay. Establishing a separate body for economic planning. Establishing a separate body for economic planning. Establishing a separate body for economic planning. Second point, one is government should lead the setup, industrial picture. Second point, separate body should be established for economic planning. Okay. And then on those lines, they established a body. The name of the body was called as National Planning Committee. National Planning Committee was established, and Nehru was made as the chairman. Okay, Nehru was made as the chairman. National Planning Committee was appointed. National Planning Committee is different from Planning Commission. Okay, Commission I will tell you later. Okay, so in Congress they established a body called as National Planning Committee. National Planning Committee they established. Okay, so 1938 they established a body called as National Planning Committee. Then the last point of Congress plan. Visvesvaraya plan gave more importance to industrial development, but Congress plan gave equal importance to agriculture and industry. Make it as a point, okay? Congress plan gave equal importance to agriculture and industry. That should be the next point. Congress plan gave equal importance to agriculture and industry. Congress plan gave equal importance to agriculture and industry. Clear? Regarding the Congress, now you would have got the idea. So Congress, they made their proposal. The proposal was initiated by two people, Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. The main ideology was to establish a separate body for planning. On those lines, before independence, they established a body also called as National Planning Committee. And there one more vision is, government should take the lead role in the industrial setup. Private should not be given more role. They can be given role, but government should dominate the industrial picture. Then agriculture industry was given equal importance. These are the points what you should remember regarding the Congress plan. Next one is called as a Bombay plan. Next one is called as a Bombay plan. As the name says, the plan was proposed at Bombay. That's why the name is given to the plan as a Bombay plan. So here, on 1944, during that year, 1944, a group of industrialists, at the time the prominent industrialists like Tata, Birla, Thakur Das, all the people, they gathered at Bombay, and then they proposed a plan. Plan was proposed by industrialists at Bombay. So we call the plan by name called as a Bombay plan. So the plan is proposed by a group of industrialists. So what may be the nature of the plan? So the plan was of more of capitalistic nature. Okay. So to support the industry, how we can promote the industry, what should be done by the government, what should be the role of agriculture. So the plan was more of capitalistic nature. And then not much importance was given to agriculture, was given importance, but not that much importance. What means in comparison angle, Congress plan gave more importance, means this plan did not give more importance to agriculture, but gave more importance to industrial development. Okay, so that is the premise of Bombay plan. Okay, Bombay plan 44, the plan was proposed. So the plan was proposed at Bombay by a group of industrialists. Group of industrialists, example Tata, Birla, Thakur Das. So group of industrialists, and this plan was of capitalistic nature. This plan was of capitalistic nature and gave more importance to industrial development. Capitalistic nature and gave more importance to industrial development. Capitalistic nature and gave more importance to industrial development. Capitalistic nature and gave more importance to industrial development. Capitalistic nature and gave more importance to industrial development. Okay. Agriculture angle, agriculture was given least importance. You can make it as a point or you can understand. Okay, it's opposite scenario. Okay. So this is about the Bombay plan. Now the next one is called as a Gandhian plan. Next one is a Gandhian plan. This plan was proposed on 1944. Gandhian plan was proposed on 1944. Who proposed means Sriman Narayan Agarwal. S.N. Agarwal, he proposed the plan. So by the name says, the plan may be having the ideology of Gandhi, that we can understand automatically. Now, what are the ideas of Gandhi? Normally we know about the Gandhi's idea. Okay, what are the Gandhi's? So villages are the backbone of economy. Okay, village-centric economic development. Okay, so you can make it as a point. Village-centric economic development. Village-centric economic development. Village-centric economic development. Next one, more importance to village and cottage industries. More importance to village and cottage industries. Look at the point, more importance to village and cottage industries. What is the meaning of the word cottage industry? Cottage industries are the industries where the machines are not involved. Okay, so here I would like to bring you an understanding about Gandhi's ideology. Gandhi was completely against mechanization concept. Okay, so mechanizing or bringing machines, Gandhi considered that if you bring more machines, machines may increase the production, improve the productivity. At one point, it will replace the human workforce. It will lead to unemployment. Okay, Gandhi believed this strongly, but actually now we have counter arguments. But that's why Gandhi insisted more on the handmade or the cottage industries. Okay, that's the Gandhi's ideology. Just to keep a point in mind. GS angle questions will not be asked, but you should have this kind of understanding. Okay, so more importance to village and cottage industries. Okay, that's the Gandhi's ideology. Then one more thing, Gandhi gave more importance to self-reliant agriculture. Okay, which means every villages should be able to produce the thing what they require within their own village economy, or at least from the nearby economy, standing on the own legs. Okay, self-reliant agricultural economy. Next point, make it the next point. Self-reliant agricultural economy. Agriculture should be able to stand on its own legs. Okay, self-reliant agricultural economy. And the next point is a very different point. We know about the Gandhi's political weapon used by him. Okay, the political weapon we know is ahimsa or non-violence is the thing. Okay, is a weapon with which he fought with the British. Okay, but economically, Gandhi brought this weapon, okay, in economics, and he coined a beautiful term. Okay, Gandhi insisted that what is the right type of economy means an economy which is non-violent is the right kind of economy. Okay, look at the word. Gandhi used the word called as a non-violent economy. Okay, what is a non-violent economy means? For example, here we have a company. Okay, two companies are there. Now, two companies are making profits. Okay, now if you ask me which is the big company means, now I will tell that the company which has made high profit or huge turnover, huge net worth as the largest company. Okay, but Gandhi says that a company should not be judged only based on the financial standards. Okay, it should also be judged based on the ethical and moral values or the premise based on which they are operating. Okay, when they are trying to corrupt the minds of the employees, okay, or when they are not giving the due care to the environment, then actually company cannot be called as a right company. Now they may be highly yielding to the government, but in the long run, okay, they are damaging to the society as well as to the country. Okay, so company should be judged not only based on the financial merits, company should be judged based on the ethical and moral values also. Okay, because right company only will develop the right employees only rightly they will do their role in the society, then only we can get the right country. Okay, that's the Gandhi's vision. Okay, Gandhi's vision is more based on, not only based on economic aspect, is based on the more values. Okay, building the moral based society, ethics based company. That is the Gandhi's economic angle. Remember the very important point. Okay, so next point is developing a non-violent economy was the premise of Gandhi's economic model. Non-violent economy. What is non-violent economy means? Under the non-violent economy, write the sub-points. Under the non-violent economy, you can write the sub-points. What are the points means? Under the non-violent economy, you can write the point number 1. An economy based on moral and ethical values. Make it as the first point. An economy based on moral and ethical values. An economy based on ethical and moral values. Because Gandhi believed that without these ethical moral values, a company can make profit. Okay, you may have a prosperity, okay, but this will not deliver the peace to the minds of people. Okay, when you don't have the peace, then you can go along with the Abdul Kalam's words. Okay, when you don't have the peace in the mind, okay, you won't be having the harmony at the home. Okay, you don't have the harmony at the home, you won't be having the harmony at the streets. Okay, the same angle. Okay, the same angle. So People mind should be very, very calm, very peace. Okay, how when we can develop means only when you have the non-violent economy. So the point number one is ethical moral values is the main premise. Then second point of Gandhi's non-violent economy is, second point is Gandhi actually told that one second point is Gandhi strongly believed that, now you know that, okay, now when you want to assess the development of economy or the people, how they are living, okay, when you want to measure the standards, what is the indicator we refer is the standard of living, okay, in all the human development indices and all. So standard of living is the measure what we used to refer, okay, because what is standard of living? So what level of materialistic prosperity the people are living, okay, so that is the value what we refer called standard of living. But Gandhi says that standard of living is not only the best reference. So the country or the people should be judged based on the standard of life. Gandhi used the word. Instead of the standard of living, Gandhi insisted on standard of life. What is the difference between the standard of living, standard of life? Okay. Standard of living means, for example, now you got two persons, okay. This person is materialistically rich, okay, he's got all kind of wealth, okay, got good bank balance, okay, got a big house, okay, got car, okay, all the wealth he has got, okay. Another person comparatively got less wealth, okay, but when you compare the two individuals, okay, the person too has got kind of rich values, okay, as a human, as a person, he looks better, okay, but this person got all sort of wealth, but is not having the human values. When you move much closer, okay, you are not able to have a rapport, because thing is something is missing, okay, because he is not having the humanitarian spirit, okay, he has got more level of animalistic spirit. What is animalistic spirit? For my welfare, I can do anything, okay, this kind of motive is there. But Gandhi says that, okay, people should focus more on the quality of life, standard of life what they are leading, not based on the materialistic prosperity. So how it should be judged means when all the people, when they are doing everything according to the moral standards, ethical standards, then it automatically bring the quality of life among the people. It's not about the money what the people has got, not about the money what the country has got. Country can make the money, but the money should be made in the right way. So with the ethical and moral values, okay. So that's the plot of Gandhi's economy. So next thing you can write, okay, standard of life is more important than standard of living, okay. They make it as a point. Standard of life is more important than standard of living, okay. That is a Gandhi's call, okay. Standard of life is more important than standard of living. Standard of life is more important than standard of living. Okay, so that's all. This is about the Gandhi. Gandhi insisted that, and then one more thing you can write, very important economic thing, okay, understanding you should have. So the Gandhi's vision, Nehru's vision, they both are opposite nature, okay. For example, Nehru and all we'll learn more in detail in the coming segments, okay. Gandhi's economic model in one line, how we can summarize is, Gandhi's economic model is bottom to top economic model. What is the meaning of the word bottom to top economic model? When you have a strong villages will lead to strong district will lead to strong state will lead to strong country, okay. That is Gandhian model. But Nehru's model is, when you have a strong nation, okay, strong nation means how means develop a strong company. Strong companies will lead to small company. Small company will automatically develop smaller areas and then suburban and rural areas, okay, which we will learn more about in industry class. I will tell about Nehru's model, okay, because Nehru model, it has got its own merit. Gandhi's model, it has got its own merits, okay, so which you will understand. But now you finish, make it as a last point, okay. Gandhi's economic model is bottom to top model of economic development. You make it as a point, okay. Very important thing what you should understand is, Gandhi's economic model is bottom to top model of economic development. Make it as a point, okay. Bottom to top. From bottom the growth goes to the top level. Gandhi's economic model is bottom to top model of economic development. Make it as a last point in another Gandhian plan. Bottom to top model of economic development. Bottom to top model of economic development. Okay, have you all copied? Okay, now we got some idea about Gandhi's plan. Why it mentioned more about Gandhi means, we know about the Gandhi's political ideology and all. Economically, we should have some idea. But actually now our economy, not only our economy, global economy has moved very far from Gandhian ideals. Okay, but Gandhi's idea, even now, it has got its own relevance. Okay, we got the Gandhi relevance, but actually it need more things to be changed. Okay, but you should have the idea about the Gandhi's plan. Okay, next one is people's plan. Next one is a people's plan. People's Plan was proposed on 1945 by M.N. Roy. M. N. Roy, he proposed a people's plan. Nehru's model I'll explain, don't worry. Nehru's model in detail, we'll do it because when you learn about second 5-year plan, I'll explain about Mahalanobis model. Mahalanobis and Nehru, they both shared the same vision, which I'll tell you in detail, okay? So that's why just I mentioned about the Nehru, which I'll tell you in detail in the concerned topic, okay? And need not worry about it. Now let's leave about Nehru's model, okay? Which we'll learn in the second 5-year plan. I'll tell you about Nehru's plan. Okay. M. N. Roy, 1945, he proposed. And then what was the main premise of the People's Plan is, this plan, it focused more on agriculture and consumer goods industry. Why means, what is the consumer goods industry? Now, you would have heard about the name called as a FMCG. Have you heard about fast moving consumer goods industry? Normally daily using, okay? So the fast moving consumer goods industry or consumer goods industry is the premise of the economy, because these are the things what people require on a daily basis, because the food and then other essentials they require daily basis. So the demand for these goods will be ever, okay, will not be going backward, okay, will be evergreen in the economy. So using that as a pillar, when you develop the economy, then be having a normal growth, then you can have a supplementary other complementary growth also, okay? So that was the vision of the People's Plan. So what does the People's Plan means? Focusing on or promoting agriculture and consumer goods industry. Promoting agriculture and consumer goods industry was the main focus. Agriculture and consumer goods industry. Agriculture and consumer goods industry was the main focus of People's Plan. Okay. Then next one is Sarvodaya Plan. Sarvodaya Plan, agriculture and consumer goods industry. Next one is Sarvodaya Plan. Sarvodaya Plan was proposed on 1950. Sarvodaya Plan was proposed on 1950. Who proposed means the plan was proposed by Jayaprakash Narayan. The plan was proposed by Jayaprakash Narayan, JP Narayan, he proposed the plan. And then the plan actually not only the economic in nature, okay, this plan we call it by the plan which has got relevance socially also, politically also, and economically also. Economically, the society must improve. Socially, the people must be uplifted, okay, and politically, people must be represented. All the things were mentioned, okay, so it is called as a holistic plan, but this plan is the only plan which came after India's independence on 1950, okay, all the other things were proposed before independence, okay. So the premise of the plan is not only economic, okay, so this plan focused on social, political and economic upliftment of the society. So this plan focused on economic, social and political upliftment of the society. Okay. So this plan focused on social, political and economic upliftment of the society. Okay, so these were these are the things what you should remember regarding the plan. Okay, let me do a quick a minute sum up about all these things. Okay, Visvesvaraya plan proposed on 34 by Visvesvaraya. He wrote a book called as a Planned Economy for India. In that book, he proposed a 10-year plan. The plan focused on shifting the people from agri to industry. If it happens, doubling the income in 10 years. Okay, this plan is considered to be the first experience of economic planning in India. Okay, then second plan, Congress plan, proposed by All India Congress Committee. Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose were the main think tanks behind the plan. Okay, what is the main ideology? Establish government-led economic development. Okay, government should take the lead role in economic development. Next one is agriculture and industry was given equal focus. Then establishing a separate body for economic planning. That's about Congress plan. Then about the Bombay plan. 1944, the plan was proposed. Who proposed means the proposed plan was proposed by a group of industrialists like Tata Birla. What was the premise? Capitalistic in nature, more importance to industrial development, comparatively less importance to agriculture. Okay. Then about the Gandhian plan, based on Gandhi's ideology, 1944, Sriman Narayan Agarwal proposed the plan. This plan was giving the Gandhi's ideal. What is ideology means? Village-centric economic development, bottom-top economic development, then village and cottage industries promotion, self-reliant villages or self-sustained villages, and then non-violent economy based on moral and ethical values are the main premise of the Gandhian plan. Then People's Plan 1945, this plan focused more on the agriculture and consumer goods industry. Then about Sarvojaya Plan 1950, this plan focused on the social, political as well as the economic upliftment of the society. Okay, so these are the main points. Okay, now next one is the we are going to learn about the important types of plan. With this, let's finish today's class. Important types of plan. The heading is important types of plan. Okay, so under this heading, what are the things we are going to learn or before learning? Okay, now why we are learning about this segment? Why it is essential? Okay, because now when we learn about Niti Aayog is the current body which is doing the economic planning for India. When we learn about it at the time, we may be learning. Okay, Niti Aayog has been established by the government. Why? Planning Commission got dissolved. Why the Planning Commission got dissolved? Because government says the Planning Commission was doing the fixed planning for India. India don't require fixed planning. India require rolling approach. And the Planning Commission was doing centralized way of planning. Niti Aayog is going to do the decentralized way of planning. So when I use these terms, you may not be able to exactly understand what I am trying to say, because without having the proper understanding of rolling plan, fixed plan, centralized, decentralized, you cannot exactly differentiate between the roles of Planning Commission and Niti Aayog. So to understand, you should have the basic idea what is meant by centralized plan, what is meant by decentralized, what is meant by fixed plan. Then only you can exactly understand what I said. Okay, so to do that, we are going to learn about the basic types. Okay, apart from this also we got some other types called as a capitalistic plan, socialistic plan, inducement plan, imperative plan, but they are very minor. Okay, they are given in the textbook, it will be given to you. But these are the things which are very more relevant, which is normally used in the newspapers. Okay, when you learn about economic planning, these are terms which normally comes in the paper. Okay, so we are going to learn about the important types of plan. How we are going to learn means, so these two combined together we are going to learn, because they both are exactly like antonyms. Then these two we are going to learn in a combined way. Fixed plan is opposite rolling plan. Then all these three we are going to learn. Okay, they are like opposites. Okay, first you write the heading as the centralized plan, decentralized plan. You write the two things: centralized plan, decentralized plan. Centralized plan, decentralized plan. Now, first write the heading centralized plan, decentralized plan. Let's understand about the two types. What is centralized? Okay, now without getting into the economic planning perspective, now let's understand in a common man's language. Okay, what is centralized? We know when all the powers are vested with the central level body. Okay, in the house also centralized AC. Okay, which means a central control. Same angle. When the plans are made at the top level, without providing more space or more role to the participants at the bottom level in the planning process, then the approach is called as centralized planning. Okay, example here, whom do we refer by the term people at the top level? People at the bottom level means here the district. Okay, district planning boards or state governments, when they are not properly represented or when they are not given more role in the planning process, instead the Planning Commission, they make the plan. When they ask the state governments to implement the plan, then this kind of approach is called a centralized approach. Okay, so here for example, the same thing again, how we can connect means, for example, in a particular office, okay, the boss is actually taking all the calls, okay, is not getting the opinion from subordinates, okay, then it is called as a centralized approach. Or in the family, okay, parents, they take the decision, they not bring the children, okay, come, let's combine, let's make a combined decision means it is a decentralized approach. Okay, but here when they think, okay, why means not to it's not like that. Okay, they are not respecting the children. Okay, it's like because they think that, okay, the children, they don't know about these things, because I know about these things in a better way. In this approach, that's the approach prevailed among the Planning Commission. Okay, they thought that state governments, they may not have the expertise in the planning, so I'm the one who knows much better, so let me do the planning. Okay, that was the approach. Okay, so these things and all I'm telling for your for in-depth understanding, but in a normal way. How to understand centralized means, centralized planning is a type of planning in which the planners at the top level, they make the plan without involving the participants at the bottom level in the planning process. Look at the word what I'm using, without involving the participants at the bottom level in the planning process, which means, now imagine I am the top level authority. If I make the plan, now I should invite you. Come, okay, today we are going to make the plan. Let's sit together, okay. Let's make the plan means it is decentralized. But in centralized, what is the thing is, I may not invite you, or else what I will do means, now before making the plan, now I will invite you. Come, let's sit together, let's make a meeting. You tell what are your requirements. Like that, I will get your requirements. When I get your requirements, it doesn't mean that it is decentralized, okay. So I will get all your requirements. Then I will go to my office. there I will make the plan, which means while making the plan, I will not invite you. Before making the plan, I will ask you, what do you require? Tell me. Based on your requirement, I will do the plan. So you should not be confused, because centralized means in the planning process, while doing the plan, you must involve the people, okay? Before making the plan, when you get the people's input, and then when you go back to the office, when they make the plan, it is not decentralized, okay? Decentralized means during the process of preparing the plan, you should involve the people at the bottom level. Before making the plan, when you invite the people, come, you tell the opinion, but you don't tell me how to make the plan. That I know. You just tell me what is your requirement. In that angle, the approach was followed by the planning commission. Because why I am saying this point and all, without saying this point, I would have explained the centralized. Because already when I started the definition, it was very easy to you, okay? But why I am saying the point means, because when we go further, at the time I will tell you, planning commission, before making the plan, they used to invite the state government. But at that time you have a confusion. Sir, you told planning commission has followed a centralized approach, but the inviting means they are giving decentralized role. They are giving decentralized role or space means you should not be confused. So the clarity is, centralized means you should invite the people at the bottom level during the planning process, okay? Take for example, now we in a family, okay? The parents, they are asking, okay, now you tell me what do you want, okay? Whether you want, what are requirements, like that they will get what we need. Then while doing the purchase, they will not invite us, because you tell what you want, I will go and do the purchase, because you don't know what to be purchased, or how should be purchased. That I know, okay? If this is the approach, this is called a centralized, okay? It doesn't mean that you cannot question, okay? Because before making the purchase, my opinion was sought, okay? It is not about giving our opinion, it is giving our idea during the planning process, okay? So you have this level of understanding. Now for definition purpose, let me define in a simple way, okay? What is centralized means? Centralized planning is a planning approach where the authorities at the top level, they make the plans without giving the participants at the bottom level more role in the planning process. Example, the approach of planning commission. What is the opposite approach? Decentralized plan, okay? In this approach, the participants at the bottom level, they are involved in the planning process, or they are given more role in the planning process, not giving role before planning, okay? While doing the plan, the people at the bottom level, they are involved, they are brought into the planning process. That is called as decentralized approach. Example, the approach of Niti Aayog. Whereas the planning commission, they followed the approach called as a centralized plan, okay? It's very simple. I told you the other points and all just to give you more clarity, but sometimes the more clarity would have confused you, okay? Don't worry about this, which you'll understand when I tell about the plan, okay? Now what is centralized? The people at the top level, they make the plan without involving the participants at the bottom level during the planning process. Decentralized is the approach where the participants at the bottom level, they are provided more role or more space during the planning process, okay? That you make this a note. Now first one, centralized plan means, first write the notes for the first one. Centralized plan. In this type, the plans are prepared at the top level. The plans are prepared at the top level. The plans are prepared at the top level without involving the participants, at the bottom level, without involving the participants at the bottom level, in the planning process. Without involving the participants at the bottom level in the planning process. The ideas always flow from top to bottom in this approach. This is very important statement, very important point, right? The ideas always flow from top to bottom in this approach. The ideas always flow from top to bottom in this approach. Underline the word top to bottom. Because UPSC angle or other examination angle, this statement is regularly given, okay? The ideas always flow from top to bottom in this approach. So our UPSC perspective, this word is important, top to bottom. Example, the approach of planning commission. Example, the approach of planning commission. Example, the approach of planning commission. Next one is decentralized plan. I think it's almost 8:29, so we'll be stopping with decentralized. Okay, remaining things and all, we do it on tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Saturday we'll start with this. Okay, so let me stop with the decentralized plan. Now write the decentralized plan. Decentralized means in this type of planning or in this type of plan, In this type of plan, the plans are prepared after involving the participants. In this type, the plans are prepared. In this type, the plans are prepared after involving the participants at the bottom level. In this type, the plans are prepared after involving the participants at the bottom level in the planning process. The ideas flow from bottom to top. Ideas flow from bottom to top in this approach. Not only top to bottom, ideas flow from bottom to top in this approach. Bottom to top in this approach. Example, the approach of Niti Aayog. Example, the approach of Niti Aayog. Example, the approach of Niti Aayog. Okay. So with this, we are finishing today's class. Now, as usual, I used to do the recap of the entire session, 2.5 hour session. I used to do the recap at the end. Okay, today also I'm going to do the revision of the entire content. Okay, just in a minute, I'm going to do the recap. Okay, so 1 minute time, we're going to finish the total recap of today's class. So today, we learned about the topic economic planning. Before that, I gave you some idea about general economics, what are the topics we're going to cover in general economics. Then I gave you reference material for general economics. Okay. Then reference materials I summed up in the easy way. Okay. Daily what you have to refer, weekly what you have to refer, monthly what you have to refer. Weekly is not required now. That you can do in the later stage. Okay. Monthly, then yearly what you should do, then one time what you should do. Okay. Daily you should read newspaper or any website. Okay. Current affairs website. Then monthly Yojana Kurukshetra. Then annually economic survey. One time class notes, attending the class, and then the book which I referred. Okay. Then we got into the class. So we started the topic economic planning. We understood economic planning is nothing but it is a concept of organizing the resources in a systematic manner to accomplish the macroeconomic, macro-political and social objectives of a country. Okay. Then before starting the economic planning, we learned about how was our economy during the colonial rule. Okay. Example, we are commercialized. Okay. Zamindar economy. Okay. And then we are having the very deindustrialized structure, poor infrastructure, frequent famines in the economy. Overall, we can sum up as a colonial economy. Like that we learned about. Okay. Then during the time of independence, how was our economy? Independence, our agriculture was predominant. Okay. More income was coming from agriculture. People are employed, but productivity was very low. Factory, the people only 1.8% of the employed in factory. 6% of income was coming from factory. Unfrequent famines, economic impact of partition, then widespread inequality, then about the per capita income, stagnant growth of the economy, and then about the mass illiteracy, and then about the very poor, very low urbanization. All the things we covered. Then we learned about the economic planning, definition of economic planning. Then we learned about the economic planning when it commenced means Russia started the process 1928, India introduced on 51. In between, many people they made the proposal. We learned about this under the heading called as historic experience of economic planning in India. We learned about Vishwesaraya plan 1934. He wrote a book called as a planned economy for India. In that book, he made the proposal for a 10-year plan, shifting the people from agri to industry, which may lead to doubling of income in 10 years. Okay, this plan is considered to be the first experience of India's economic planning. Then we learned about Congress plan. On 1938, All India Congress Committee, they proposed the plan. So the main people were Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. So three principles, okay, main principles were, one is government-led economic development. There should be a separate body for economic planning. Agriculture, industry must be given equal importance. Then we learned about the Bombay plan. On 1944, Bombay plan was proposed by the group of industrialist people, was of capitalistic nature, and then gave more importance to industrial development. Then we learned about the Gandhian plan. On 1944, Seaman Narayan Agarwal, he proposed the plan based on Gandhi's ideology, giving more importance to villages, self-sustained villages or self-reliant villages. Village and cottage industries were given more importance. Then non-violent economy, okay, or building economy based on the moral, ethical values. Okay, these were the main premise of the Gandhian economy. Gandhi was also against mechanization, and then Gandhi focused more on standard of life the understanding of living. Then we learned about the people's plan. The plan was proposed by M. N. Roy in 1945. The plan focused on the agriculture and consumer goods industry. Then we learned about Sarvodaya plan, the plan which came after India's independence in 1950, proposed by Jayaprakash Narayan. This plan not only focused on economic aspect, it focused on social and then political upliftment of the society or the masses. Okay. Then we started learning about the different types of plan. There we handpicked the important types alone. There we started with the centralized plan. What is centralized plan means? When the plans are prepared by the people at top level without involving the participants at the bottom level in the planning process, then the approach is called as centralized. Here the ideas always flow from top to bottom. The people at the bottom level, they cannot share the ideas, okay? Just they can tell what they require, that's all, okay? Example, the approach of planning commission. And then decentralized plan, here the ideas flow from bottom to top. The people at the bottom level, they are given more role in the planning process. Example, the approach of Niti Aayog, okay? Remaining things, let's do in Saturday's class, okay? Thank you all. If you got any doubts, you can stay back and ask the doubts. Otherwise, let's wind up the class, okay? Thank you all. Thank you all. Okay, thank you to all. Sir, in decentralized planning, ideas flow from both top to bottom, and yes, okay. I actually theoretically, okay, exam angle, decentralized plan, the ideas flow from bottom to top, okay. But practically, okay, imagine, okay, we got Niti Aayog, okay, state government. State government, they can give some idea to the thing, okay, idea to the Niti Aayog, which means bottom to top. Sometimes Niti Aayog says that, okay, now Tamil Nadu government is doing this. Why can't you do this in your state? Like that, Niti Aayog can also recommend to the things, okay, but actually, practically, ideas flow from both sides. But theoretically, I think is exam angle. Questions how they will be given means it is bottom to top. Because in the earlier class, other batches and all, normally now and then I used to say both sides. Okay, but students, they are getting confused when I say the word bottom to top or both sides. So theoretically, you keep this point in your notes, which means top to bottom centralized, bottom to top. But practically, you can remember, which actually I'll tell when I explain about Niti Aayog at that time, I'll bring that point. Okay, because when I am giving the initial definition, when I tell the both sides, now it's confusing to many minds. That's why I've taken that point away. Now you can remember as a bottom to top, okay, which you will understand in the coming segments, okay. So as of now, theoretical angle, top to bottom is centralized, bottom to top is a decentralized. Take it in that way, okay. Practically, that's different, okay. Thank you, okay. Okay, thanks, Nishchit. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your compliments. Thank you, Helen. Thank you. Thank you, students. Okay, if you got any doubts, we can proceed. Otherwise, we'll meet on Saturday. Thank you all. Thank you, students.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, you can proceed, ma'am. Thank you, Vasant.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding this exploitation, means deindustrialization, sir, during colonial times. Okay, so suppose if British were not there during that time, then what Indian rulers should do, sir? Because our handmade cotton cloth cannot be sold anywhere because overall industries are promoting. So what should have been done actually?
You are right, ma'am. The thing is, ma'am, because at the time the Britain was having industrialization, so two things would have happened in our economy. If the British have not captured our economy, means two things. Because industrial goods has got its own merit. What angle means? They are very cheaper, they are very quicker, so they can be sold at the low price in the market. They will be having its own demand. But certain things which are handmade, hand-woven things, it has got its own merit in the domestic as well as the global market, because many rulers, they are the patrons, okay, of the handmade goods. So certain things, gems, jewelry, handicrafts, which cannot be done by the machines, in those areas we would have sustained. Then gradually what would have happened is, slowly the investments would have flown to the industry. So even though, okay, at the time, okay, we were handmade industries, slowly the investments would have flown into those sectors. So India would have got mechanized, and then India would also try to compete with other countries because of our own mechanization. But actually the industrial development, it got, okay, actually we got a huge blow because of the deindustrialization. If this process had not happened means, India, what we would have faced means, one side the domestic handmade industries, it would have prospered. Other side, mechanized industries would have developed. But British did not allow the development of mechanized industries in our economy because our industry got deindustrialized. Is it clear, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Clear,
Thank
ma'am?
you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You got out, ma'am? No. Any other doubts, students? Yes, I think no other doubts. Thank you all. Okay, thank you, students. Let's meet on Saturday. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, Sundar. Sign out. No doubts.